If you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you running a business is tough. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you the visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Join the over 21,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/C-suite. netsuite.com/C-suite.
Welcome to the Superhero Homies podcast. My name is Quentin, and as always, I'm here with the homie Kevin.
Heyo, how's everyone doing this fine day of this fine week? Yeah. How have you been doing, man? What's life like?
You know, life is life. Digging into this Luke Cage season 2.
Yeah.
Yep. Hopefully, all you homies listening have done so as well, or at least have watched part of it.
Definitely, because as I'm sure, which will be obvious too in a few minutes here even, there will be spoilers ahead.
Unless you guys just don't mind, in which case we don't mind. So,
yeah, seriously, keep listening. It's cool. Stay with us.
Yeah, so Luke Cage season 2 came out just last Friday, and we've watched the first 4 episodes, and we prepared to review those tonight. What you think of those overall so far, Kevin?
Well, Q, there's a few things I love that they're doing, and there's a few things that I wish they didn't do, you know? Mm-hmm. And I can't wait to go into details to what those separate things are.
Right.
But I gotta say, I love the direction that Harlem has been taking overall. Mm-hmm. You know, I love the fact that Luke Cage is like a pseudo-celebrity all of a sudden. Scratch out pseudo. You can just call him a celebrity.
Yeah.
You know, he is the man, you know. And we intro into Luke Cage 2 with that, you know. And this is a post-Defenders Luke Cage. So it's interesting knowing exactly how much experience he has and what he still clings on to, you know. Like he goes into a crime scene. Criminals are just ready to do their shit. And he's just like, really, guys, we're doing this? We got to make it look like we try. I love that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he's like, no, wait. Still puts in the headphones, just like in the first season, man. I love that.
Yeah.
How about you? What are your thoughts?
So there's some things that I love and some things that I really don't like so far.
Okay.
I will say this, like, they are really banking on their fans of the first season having watched Defenders.
Very true.
Because if you haven't watched Defenders, or even if you vaguely remember it, you're going to have a hard time trying to figure out how the hell Luke Cage got out of prison. Because, of course, at the end of season 1, that's kind of where it leaves us, is with Luke Cage going back to prison.
It's not chronological. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is chronological, but there's a gap.
It is. No, that's exactly it. Like, Luke Cage 1 and 2 are not together. They're chapters 1 and 3. Yeah.
Pretty much. It's like 2.5. Or I should say we're missing 1.5, and then we have season 2. Like 1.5 is kind of like the Defenders, you know, as far as his chapter goes.
Okay.
But you know, just I thought that was an interesting choice. I mean, because all they really had to do was just briefly reference that, and I think it would have sufficed.
Yeah,
I think
that's true.
You know, but I mean, honestly, I'm not that I'm a hater of these first 4 episodes, not at all. But there's enough exposition in these first 4 episodes as it is, especially this first episode. But no, there were a lot of things that I like. I really enjoy Bushmaster.
Yes.
I
texted you about him the other day. He's the shit.
Yeah, he's a really fun villain. I was afraid how season 2 would fare after the loss of Cottonmouth, because we all know that part 2, the second half of season 1 never recovered after the loss of Cottonmouth. So after episode 7 or so, it just took a noticeable dip in quality.
I mean, Cottonmouth is one of my favorite on-screen villains, you know. I loved the intricacies. I loved the actual portrayal of what the heroes saw of this character. And I loved the way that actor, help me out with the name here because I know you know it.
Mahershala Ali.
Thank you. Yes. I love how he portrayed, you know, freaking Cottonmouth. Like,
Yeah.
my name's not Carm. You know, I love the aggressiveness.
It was so good. You know,
It was.
But man, here goes that $1 million word again. It was so jarring though in season 1 to see them go from this really intricate and complex layered villain to this kind of a meme-worthy, jokey
Exactly.
type
Like,
villain.
this one-tone dude. Like,
Right.
oh, come on, man.
His one notice
Diamondback?
that
Yeah.
his one notice that he's extremely crazy and
Right. And he happens to be related to the hero.
right, yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's about all the gimmick. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I mean, the second half of season 1 lost a lot of people. You know, just as far as how much they enjoyed it, including myself. You know, because the second half of season 1 just wasn't quite there.
No, they never could, you know. And, I mean, they had some cool support. Like, we saw Rosario come back in, which is really fun. You know, she's always helping out all them super types. And then, you know, we had Mariah kind of playing the role of a villain type, kind of learning, filling the shoes a little bit.
Right. And
But,
the
I
second
mean,
half of season 2. But see,
Yeah.
that was the problem, though, is that she was taking those steps to becoming a villain in the second half of season 1, where we needed a villain in
Right.
the second half of season 1, and so there was kind of a void there. And by the end of it, Mariah came around to being the villain that we knew she could be. And fortunately, she's really taken up that mantle here in season 2 also. So, you know, in season 2, that's kind of like a double deuce, a villainry with Bushmaster and Alfre Woodard as Mariah.
Right, yeah. I have my thoughts about that, you know. There's a few things where I'm kind of like, really? We're doing this? You know? But let's dig into it. Let's go into the order here.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and get into this, guys. So, episode 201 is called Soul Brother Number 1. And this episode was actually directed by Lucy Liu.
Yeah, I had to go back and make sure I didn't, you know, fake that in the credits. Like, this is the Lucy Liu directing this. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was funny because back when the show was filming, people saw her on set. And, you know how the internet is. Speculation began to spread wildly, and people were like, who is Lucy Liu playing in Luke Cage? Yeah, no, guys.
She's playing the director.
Yeah, that she is. That she is.
Yeah.
So what we get here is that I have that this is a New Jack City style drug process. So for those of you who have seen this is like New Jack City light, because New Jack City is a really classic crime movie. It came out in the early 90s, like 1990, starring Wesley Snipes and Ice-T. Also, Chris Rock has like one of his very first movie appearances in it. But it's a movie about like in New York about like these two brothers rising up in the drug empire, and part of their like their drug processing, like when they're having their workers process and package and manufacture the product, like it's a bunch of women and they're all like naked and like from like they're all just completely naked, like especially from the top up. And that's exactly what this scene here reminded me of, except, they had on, like, some form of tops,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean...
So it's like, this is New Jack City, but, this is the... like
slightly edited.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
Interesting.
And so they're naming the product Luke Cage, which, honestly, it's a brilliant marketing tactic. But it's obviously not smart for other reasons.
Right. Like, marketing-wise, it was super cool because then you could get away with a shot of him kind of like being reintroduced into the hero role where he's like dropping the thing and it said Luke Cage. I thought that was going to be like some part of like some kind of special weird opening credits thing, but then I remembered, no, we already have our opening credits video. Netflix is infamous for always using the same ones for each hero. But, It was weird, like, wait, you're really naming your daggum drug after the hero who's going to beat the shit out of you? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, I thought it was a pretty smart move on their part, just because you want to name, because you want to name your product something that's going to be catching, something that's going to catch people's attention.
Yeah, it did do that. I mean,
because like even if your product isn't the strongest, naming it Luke Cage is going to make people think that your product is the strongest.
I got that Luke Cage. Oh man, I mean, okay, I could see that.
Yeah,
but it's also, from my point of view, re-explaining it a little bit. It's also definitely putting yourself out there maybe a little too hard. Mm-hmm. Maybe you cast that lure a little too far out because now you caught the actual Luke Cage's attention, and that's what you didn't need to do, especially if you're drug lords of unfortunate women dealing with drugs.
To be fair, though, regardless of what it's called, Luke Cage was going to find it.
Oh yeah, no, he was going to do what Cage does.
Yeah, so the name really didn't matter in the end. But yeah, he easily finds and busts the operation and puts an end to it. We've already talked a little bit about that scene there where, the guy's like, well, we got to try. And so they open fire on him and Luke just has his way with him, man. Just another day at the office for him. But moving on here, because we do have 4 episodes to go through.
Yeah, feel free. Pump the gas pedal.
Yeah. So the next really cool scene we get here, and I think I overall, guys, have more notes for episode 1 just because there's so much goddamn exposition mixed in with introductions that is hard to just floor through. So there's a lot of stops you got to make here along the way.
Okay.
But the next scene we get here is you see a preacher preparing a sermon, and with this scene here, it's a really fun scene. It's played by the actor Reggie Cathy. He's playing this really charming preacher, and he's preparing this sermon in the mirror as he's putting on a tie, and ultimately it comes down to does he serve the Lord or does he serve himself? And it's a really ear-catching sermon that he's preparing because he starts off really complimenting Luke Cage, saying like what people think of him and all the things that he's done, and he's like, he has like the smile of Obama and the charm of Martin with the, with the swagger of Malcolm, like all this cool shit.
Right. Like, it was well written.
It was very well done. Yeah. And then he goes into, but who does he serve? Does he serve himself or does he serve the Lord? And he ties it into his whole sermon. I will go ahead and say this. Reggie Cathy, I think, is a really brilliant actor. Or at least he was. He actually passed away beginning of this year, around February.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But yeah, he was...
I did not know that. Yeah. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. He was a really good actor. He did a lot of work on The Wire, House of Cards. He even won an Emmy for House of Cards. Was nominated 3 times. Yeah. Really powerful actor. Really, really good actor even here. He's definitely one of the good standouts in these first 4 episodes.
Yeah.
But no, so it was interesting seeing him because like when we first see him, we really don't know what type of role he's going to play, and I love how they keep that ambiguity throughout this episode. Next up, we go back to the barbershop where insurance has gone through the roof from when Diamondback wrecked the shop.
Yep.
We get
which makes sense. Let's be honest. Yeah.
Bobby Fish, he's back for the 2nd season. He says to think about some sponsorship. Speaking to Luke, which makes sense. And the reason I wrote that down because in my mind, this was like the first hint at them saying, "Hey, maybe this can be a small foothold for Heroes for Hire."
Yep.
Yeah, because hey, Luke's got to get that money.
Yeah. I mean, if you're busy hearing all the time, that doesn't really save you time for a part-time job,
Right.
So.
Yeah. Especially, in this season particularly, because, at least in season 1, he had a job. In season 2, I couldn't tell you what Luke does for a living.
Nope. Just runs around, drinks free actual coffee, and, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And, he's even living with Claire at this point, so...
Take selfies and whatnot for other people. Yeah, that's about it.
Right. Carhartt sends him free shipments now. So
that is cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
And very much needed.
And in the Carhartt, too. That's some good stuff,
right.
man. Yeah. Dadgum.
Yeah, they... Carhartt, they actually produced like a limited edition Luke Cage hoodie.
Really?
It was in the exact same style.
Okay.
The only reason that I and several others were turned off by it is because, like, at the very bottom of it, there's like this huge, bright Marvel stamp on it, and it's like, you guys could have took that off.
Guys, really?
Come on,
just let us pretend.
All right.
Take that shit off.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Oh man. Anyways, the next scene we get here is Misty and Claire doing physical therapy. So apparently, Claire is like the one nurse that does it all.
Apparently, yeah. She's got nursing powers in every field of nursing, and it's like,
field.
all right, whatever, that's cool. I will also say this though. One-armed Misty, I'm not sure what the technical details are as to that, like a green sleeve and things like that, sure, whatever have you. It looks great.
It does.
For something that is so, like, complicated to do,
Right.
they did it well.
They did.
Yeah.
And like you said, I'm not really sure as to the process. I'm not even sure how green screening works technically. I mean, I know that she's wearing like a green sleeve, but like how they're like the technical process of them editing that out, and then like us not seeing her arm, but nothing looking disjointed.
Right, like it's not obvious that she has it just tucked in her shirt or something. And you know how many other shows get away with that? It's just like, come on, guys.
Well, speaking of Defenders, you remember back in Defenders when Stick, when he got his hand chopped, when he got his hand chopped off and he just had the nub. That fake prosthetic nub was so obvious that it bothered me a little bit.
Yeah, they had to improve from that.
They did. Yeah, that was pretty bad.
I mean, everyone loves Stick, but come on, Stick. Yeah.
Like his nub hanging out of his sleeve. I'm like, so his arm got longer once his hand got cut off. And
I know, right?
It just looked so plastic.
Like that dude from, I don't know if you watch this show ever, but Arrested Development. Like he lost
Buster.
his hand. Yeah, you know it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah. But anyways.
Anywho.
But no, it's good to see Misty back. And I will go ahead and say this also about Misty. First of all, I think that
she has great hair.
She does have great hair.
She does.
Yeah,
I always like it.
She's a fantastic actress, and to me, I think that she at this point in the season has like my favorite arc. Like she to me has the most development, and she has some of the best stuff, and like her character is constantly moving in a direction that is both understandable and enjoyable to watch.
Agreed.
I really enjoy her stuff in these first 4 episodes.
Oh yeah, same here, man. She's very untainted, Like everything she's doing is actual good progression, That's something I took notice of as well.
Yeah.
Something I wish could be shared across the board.
Right, yeah. you and me both.
Yeah.
For sure. Oh, man. And so the next scene we get here is we see Shades. Now, I'm going to go ahead and stop here.
Okay, I was
talk
about
about Shades first. Before I even describe the scene. Okay, so Shades...
How are we going to tackle this, buddy?
Okay. So he's being played by the actor Theo Rossi.
I like him. I like the actor.
Well, that's the thing. Like, especially on my first watch of these first 4 episodes.
Sure.
I couldn't tell if I hated his acting or if I hated the character or both.
I hate the character.
Because
that's my choice. I hate the character.
I will say this because especially in season 1 and at points here in season 2 still, he shows this certain woodenness that I think is partially written in the character and is partially in his delivery. Like his character, especially in season 1, a little less so in season 2, is so one note at times that it's hard. Like, how do you make this guy more? He seems more fake. Like he seems like more fake than the superpower Luke Cage. Like I believe Luke Cage is an actual character more so than I believe that Shades is an actual person. Sometimes
I will say this. I will defend Theo with this. Have you ever seen him in Sons of Anarchy?
No, I have not.
No?
Yeah.
He does a great job in that series. He really does. He's one of the bikers that stands out to me the most.
I can believe that. But, not every actor is meant for every role.
No, that's true. I mean...
I think that Hayden Christensen is a pretty decent actor, but he was not meant for the part of Darth Vader in the Star Wars trilogy, that's for sure.
Okay. Yeah. But, no, I mean, you're right. His character here is so, like... It doesn't really fit. You know, it's like, well, another thing I have a problem with, I'm going to go on a long tangent. Well, a tangent with, because we don't have a long time. But his character just kind of serves its criminal purpose in the scenes. It's like they constantly mold him to fit what they want in each scene. Like, at one time, he's like the criminal tutor, how to get away with shit, brought to you by Theo Rossi, you know? And that's cool. I liked it in season 1 because it worked. It showed that he was just a badass who was informed and he knew his shit, and that's okay. It flipped every now and then.
I didn't like him in season 1. Yeah.
Season 2, it's flipping over a lot more. Like, all of a sudden he goes from like the suave know-how tutor of criminology to, oh, well, now I'm unsure of shit going on. Like, oh, I don't know what's going on here. I don't see this obvious power play happening and things like that. And his character to me now is like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I actually, overall, I like his character more in season 2 than in season 1.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. In season 1, he was even more one note. And, like, his delivery was so deadpan that I was like, are we serious right now? Did we just do one take on all his scenes? and I mean, yeah, he was, I don't know. But in this, like, there's actually some form of a semblance of an actual person behind those shades. Not fully developed, but there's an actual person.
Right.
To an extent.
Maybe I just liked his fictitious person more so.
Maybe so.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Like, that fictitious person, to me, that version of Shades in season 1 just didn't fit in at all with the environment of Luke Cage. I'm like, why? Like, you're in the wrong show.
Well, that was part of the reason I liked him, you know?
Because it took me out of the element.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyways, Shades, he's welcoming Comanche out of prison, and he gives him the keys to the Benz. And at this point, that's all we know is that he and Comanche are boys. Comanche did time in prison. Comanche just got out. And now Comanche is working with Shades, or for Shades.
Something like the dynamic's a little confusing still.
Is.
Yeah.
Next thing we get here is Mariah and Shades. They meet with a guy named Piranha. Piranha is actually a comic book character. In the TV show, he does not have those outlandish teeth that he has in the comics. Hence the name Piranha and all that. Here, he's more like a suave businessman of sorts.
Right, yeah. Which Piranha's kind of a fitting name for that, too.
It is, yeah. I can see that.
Dude, can I ask you something just real quick, breaking script here? What do you feel about this whole Mariah and Shades thing they got going on in this show?
I don't mind it.
Really? I don't know. It's like, it doesn't make me uncomfortable, but it is kind of like, oh, whoa, we're really putting a lot of gas into this. Like, oh, shit, okay.
I mean,
it's interesting.
I mean, the way I look at it, like, maybe the one thing that I liked about Shades in season 1 was the fact that it did seem kind of organic how their relationship began. And so, if their relationship had, like, a what the fuck start, then I would look at this like, what is going on here?
Sure.
But the fact that we got like actual information and kind of an understanding as to where they began, I mean, I have no problem with this.
I mean,
I think a lot of people have a problem with exactly what the show wants you to have a problem with, and that is like the age discrepancy. But I mean,
but no, that's obvious. They want you to feel uncomfortable with that. Yeah. No, but that's not really the issue for me. In season 1, I could get behind the idea that the relationship started because he was looking for a good, hard criminal to work for Diamondback. He saw that Cottonmouth just wasn't that criminal. He constantly said, well, wait a minute, don't you think you're making an emotional decision rather than a logical one here for the Crime Lord Syndicate? Oh, wait, Mariah over here seems to actually have the qualities, the characteristics, and her shit together enough to be a crime lord. Oh, okay, I could get behind that. That was working for me season 1, you know? That was part of the reason I liked Shades and his chemistry with both Cottonmouth and then eventually Mariah. But it's just kind of like, oh, wow, we're putting a lot of effort into this now. Like, okay. I did like how that restaurant scene hall ended, though. That I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah. Kind of says a lot about their relationship to Shades, who, you know, does come off as one note here to bring your point back into the view, too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, their relationship never really bothered me. Like, so far, they haven't shown, like, any holes in it that would make it seem unfathomable. So, yeah, haven't had any problem with it. But yeah, so Mariah and Chase, they're meeting with Piranha about acquiring a plastics company called Atreus Plastics. And what Piranha is saying is that for a $20 million investment, they will essentially be able to absorb that company through another company called Glen Industries. That's a company that Piranha is associated with, and he's saying that with that acquisition, they'll be able to turn that $20 million investment into billions. And with that, if they acquire Atreus Plastics, they'll be able to manufacture a bunch of new ways of guns and other products that really haven't hit the street yet. And so he's saying that it'd be a really smart move if they could get this $20 million together and get Mark Higgins to agree to sell Atreus Plastics. Mark Higgins is the guy that owns the company,
right?
Atreus.
Yeah.
And then as they're discussing it, that's when the waiter comes up and goes, "Oh, hi. Are you and your aunt celebrating a special occasion?" He says that to Shades and Mariah, the waiter does. And
freaking Shades, man.
Like, to me, I do appreciate the outcome, but the setup was so far left field. I mean, like, what waiter or what service person does that?
I mean, I would hope there isn't a service person out there who makes dangerous assumptions like that without first gathering the intel, without first asking, the safety questions like,
right.
"Oh, how are you guys doing here today? What's the special occasion?" That's a blank ass question you can ask to let them say, "Oh, we're celebrating as a couple,"
right.
or "Oh, we're celebrating as family." Something like that. Anything to give you more of a hint as to what the hell is the dynamic here.
Right?
Because sometimes it's weird, and in this case, it's weird.
Him just saying hi. So yeah, well, what's the occasion for you and your aunt? I'm like, what in your mind pieced together that this was his aunt? Like, how did you come to that conclusion? Like, it wasn't cousin, it wasn't employer, it wasn't any of that. Like, like his mind went straight there.
Like at that point. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're in the food industry, it's safer to not mention family ties. Like, "Hey, how is your dinner going along?" And just leave it at that.
Right.
You didn't have to say ... with your aunt,
I mean, let me tell you guys, like, I have been working in, like, the customer service business now for about 7 years. And I can tell you guys, I can be equally vague and specific all at the same time.
It's an art.
It is really an art. That one that this waiter needs to learn to develop. Like, if I'm on the phone with somebody and I can't tell if I'm speaking to a man or a woman, you quickly learn how to answer ambiguously.
Exactly.
Yet properly.
You become the master of avoiding those wrong pronouns, okay? And you dodge them like bullets.
Absolutely. Or in the worst case scenario, when you meet somebody in person in the service industry and you can't tell if this person is a male or female, you also learn how to appropriately address the situation.
Exactly. You pull the tricks out of the bag. Well, hey, how would you like this? Yeah, we can get that delivered right to you.
Without making an ass of yourself,
This waiter was just new.
Yeah.
He was a novice.
Obviously. Next, we get this this montage scene is of Luke and Claire dancing, and it's also of Shades like whooping some ass for some vague reason.
Yeah, that's the part where I'm kind of like, oh wow, that really set you off, man. That to me, on a psychological level, and perhaps looking too deeply into it level, that showed insecurity in like his own situation, But again, that's more.
I think that's more just to show that he does not like people disrespecting his woman. That's how crazy he is about her.
Right.
We see what happens later on to Arturo, who disrespects Mariah.
Yeah.
But as this is going on during like the Luke and Claire dance scene and the beat down that Shades is putting on this other guy, they're playing a song by Gregory Isaacs called "Night Nurse." And the reason why that's so interesting to mention is because, of course, Claire is her comic book counterpart is known as the Night Nurse. Like back in the 80s, I believe, or the 70s, she actually had her own run of comics, and she, of course, was the nurse in the comics that would go around fixing up all these heroes. And also, her character was used differently in Doctor Strange. In our Doctor Strange review, we mentioned that also, that character was also a different incarnation of Night Nurse. So it was just a really interesting, cool nod that they played this song called Night Nurse, this reggaeton song, actually called Night Nurse, about Night Nurse. So that was really fun.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I am informed.
Luke runs into his father, Reverend James.
Yeah.
It is not a pleasant exchange. These two obviously have some shit holding them back from the past that they, neither one of them really want to let the ego down. But the father essentially says that he does want a fresh start, and Luke basically says, okay, bring mom back from the dead, and then we'll have this fresh start.
Yeah, Luke's not having it, in other words. He's done.
Yeah.
It was interesting, and I'm not going to poke too much fun at it because you have to get it in where I guess you can get it in. Just don't make it feel forced. To me, here, depending on the day of the week, it could be interpreted as like, oh, what the hell was he doing walking on the sidewalk at this time of night and stuff like, I don't know. That might be speculation too much. Like, oh, they just happened to meet so perfectly, coincidentally, at this point.
I give you that. But him walking on the street at night, that's whatever. But them meeting like that is a little...
Exactly.
I think that maybe the father was probably looking for him because it seems that this isn't his first time trying to reach Luke.
Yeah, I mean, I could totally give him that too.
Mean, that is me putting a little more into the actual script, but that was just my assumption.
Oh, well, I mean, because me watching didn't give it any ease. It was literally okay. Well, this is a good coincidence. This is serviceable for them. Right. Yeah.
But no, because it was obvious though that the father was looking for Luke. Mm-hmm. But I really do love their exchange here. How Luke's like, so what do you want, money? And Reverend James is like, well, yes, but not from you. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, and how he called him Coral. He called him Carl. Yeah, called him by his that government name.
Yep. Your name's the name I gave you, boy.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, I'm Luke Cage.
I love Reggie's voice, too, man. He's got that.
He got it, dude. Yeah.
He's got that voice. That really cool voice that you just listen to. And he makes it for a really good reverend, actually.
Yeah, like whenever he did the opening monologue where he's practicing in the mirror to himself and he's like self-critiquing and whatnot, like...
Get to the point.
Yeah. Exactly. Get to the point, Rev. Yeah. I loved that. Right. That was good.
Yeah. I like that too. Luke basically ends the conversation by mentioning that he knows that Willis was his brother that he was never told about.
Yep.
And kind of leaves the dad a little dumbfounded. But I am extremely glad that they mentioned that here. Right. I would be really upset if all throughout this season they never referenced the fact that the father fathered another son, cheated on Luke's mom to have this other kid, Yep. But I'm glad they mentioned it here. This next scene here, really quick, I just had to mention just because this character is so seemingly insignificant, but really plays a role in breaking things around. The character of Stephanie, aka Billy, Mariah is hiring a new hostess.
Oh yeah.
And she
super skinny girl.
Yeah, she brings in this girl by the name of Stephanie, and Mariah, like, she gives, I guess, like the greatest pep talk ever, because she basically says to Stephanie, "Look, you're hired, but if you just take this job for what it is, and you just have hurt ankles from the hills or whatnot, and men oogling you, but that's it. But there's so much more this job can offer." She basically saying, you can use your other talents to get what you want and to get further in this company. She says that without saying it, but that the freaking Stephanie gets the point. And then Mariah says, "No, your new name is Billy." She doesn't say it like that, but
I was about to say, like, she really dropped that Billy right there. Just, your new name is Billy.
Is Billy.
It's like, damn, Mariah, you kind of went old school with that one.
Oh man,
but
so she hires Billy. And then the very next scene we get is the arrival or the first scene of Bushmaster. He's on a boat, and he wants to go to Harlem, but first he says he has plans to take Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. And so we get our very first shot at Bushmaster here, John McIver. Next scene here, we go back to Harlem's Paradise, where we meet Mark Higgins. That's the owner of Atrius Plastics. Yep. And he is already being seduced by Billy. I mean, damn near, like, I think most women would consider what he's doing here like sexual assault. Like, that's not even the small of her back he was touching. That was all ass.
Yep.
But yeah, he's definitely falling for Billy, and at this point, it's pretty much just to say that Billy is in his head, and she's going to be an informant for Mariah to get any kind of dirt that Mariah may need to get Mark Higgins to sell the company, which we'll talk about in a couple episodes. Mm-hmm. At this point here, we get even more information / exposition that's kind of needed, but dear Lord, there's so much in this episode. So at this point, Shades goes over to Mariah, and there's 3 men sitting on the floor of Harlem's Paradise, and
this one was necessary.
Yeah, he points them out as the 3 potential men that could be the donors for the $20 million in exchange for guns. So in other words, Shades and Mariah will provide them guns in exchange for $20 million. Mm-hmm. And all of them want guns. The first one that we see is Arturo Ray III. He owns a discount furniture store as a front. He owns, or he doesn't own, but he runs Washington Heights, and he moves heroin, or heroin as the New Yorkers say. Next we get Nigel Garrison and the Yardies. So if any of you guys who maybe read some of the Punisher Max series, you know a little bit about the Yardies. But Nigel Garrison is like the leader here of the Yardies. And he runs most of the guns and gangs in Jamaica, Queens, and Crown Heights. And then last but not least, we have Cockroach, and he is potentially the smallest of the 3, but he does run an off-the-books casino where a lot of high-roller players run through with a lot of money.
That's a horrible nickname. Why would you ever be okay with that? Like,
most people don't choose their own nicknames. I mean, look at Cottonmouth. He didn't choose his name.
No, that was given to him well before he was a criminal lord, But it's like, so this is it? This is what you guys chose for me? I'm Cockroach? Damn it. I guess I gotta own it now.
Yep, gotta own it.
You sure we can't change it to some cooler shit? No. Everything else is taken? I'll take Cottonmouth.
That was
damn it.
Yep, that one's vacant.
Yep. That's
so next, Mariah meets with the 3 gentlemen. I used the word loosely to see who she should back. So essentially, who is going to get the guns? Because Mariah and Shades, like their crew, they have like all the guns, like the Judas bullet material, like the heavy hitting shit.
Right, yeah.
They have all the
anti-Luke Cage warfare.
Right, yeah. They have all the Justin Hammer stuff, basically.
Yeah.
And after a brief debate, she decides to go with the Toro. He has the most solid front, so she goes with him. Luke Cage, he actually shows up. He meets with Mariah. She threatens Claire, who was also at Harlem's Paradise.
Dun, dun, dun.
Claire has showed up against Luke's, better judgment. And so I'm going to talk about this scene when we get there. But we're here. Luke and Claire.
Okay. Well, I've never heard a better lead-in. Let's do it.
Luke and Claire have an argument, and they kind of make up here. It's funny about their dynamic here, and I think that is supposed to be where we see both sides, but really here is really dysfunctional, because for the first 2 episodes, like, you really understand Luke's side, and Claire doesn't have a leg to stand on. And then on the second 2 episodes, the roles almost flip. So it's not like you see both sides. It's kind of like you see that one has a point where the other doesn't, and then
circumstances change enough that her point is prominent, you know? Yeah.
But yeah, for like the first couple episodes, her points are not valid. Like, they're really not. And so essentially she's like, well, look, we're partners. We have to work together in this. And, you know, Luke's like, they can shoot you, bitch. Like, what are you doing?
Verbatim.
Verbatim. That's exactly what Mike Coulter says. The bullets bounce off me. They don't bounce off of you.
Lucy Liu, cut. Guys, you know you can't call her bitch, Michael. All right? Come on, man. Well, it's true. They could shoot her.
Oh, man. But, so yeah, I'm not really sure what Claire's plan of action was here. But it wasn't a smart one.
No, really, I guess her plan of action was patience and sequence, really. Just letting life happen and knowing eventually.
It's different. It's different if Mariah and Chase don't know that she's Luke Cage's girlfriend. But Claire knows that they know that she's Luke Cage's girlfriend. Why would you show up here?
No, there really isn't a reason.
Yeah.
And though afterwards, on the sidewalk walking away from the club, she explains it and it's like, oh, she actually got some shit done. That's cool. But it still isn't enough to say, look, you're not playing the role of a sidekick here. You know, I've never known anyone that said, hey, I want to be your sidekick, but that's not cool. Well, you know, go call Danny.
Yeah, in her mind, she's playing the role of the partner. You know, like,
right?
Like we're in this together. But the way I look at it, like, is like this: like if I am, you know, a police officer that deals with dangerous situations every day, and I'm in a relationship, I don't expect my woman to come with me on the ride-alongs.
Yeah,
you know, like, that's not your responsibility.
Exactly. Like, you guys are close. In fact, no, freaking Rosario has such a Claire. Excuse me. I saw her once in real life, and all of a sudden she's always Rosario. Anyways, dagummit, Claire. She has such a cool skill set that sets her aside from all that. Not only is she like the partner, the go-to woman who's, you know, always a reliable person to talk to about all this stuff, who's the relationship, but she also is a nurse. So yeah, you're helping him also by taking care of his dumb ass when he does stupid stuff, you know?
Right.
But I mean,
you know, the way I look at it is like this. It's like, if you play any kind of RPG, whether it be one player or multiplayer, you know that you don't send your healer in where the tank/DPS is at. You know,
true.
You don't do that, because if the healer is gone, then you're fucked.
I mean, I get the point of view. I really do. You know, you don't want to sit on the sidelines whenever you know that you've helped before in the past when circumstances just aligned in such ways and you were able to pull through and get through the thick of the shit. But that doesn't mean you have to willingly put yourself back there all the time to help out a person who's literally bulletproof.
Right.
Your tank is bulletproof, people. You're good. You know, it's cool.
Right.
At that point, there's wrong in both parties is the overall thesis there. You know,
and that's exactly what the show's trying to tell us here.
Right.
I just don't buy it at this point, because
their explaining of it here was a little
right.
Come on, Claire.
They could have found like a stronger situation to where it's shown more prominently.
Yeah.
But in this situation, I'm sorry, Luke is clearly in the right here. Like, you should not be there.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think, does he even use the intel that she scored?
I
don't think so. Like,
no.
Yeah. Okay.
Moving on here, Luke runs into I guess an old quote-unquote associate named Sugar. And
from season 1.
Yeah,
I was happy about this.
Yeah, I can't believe this guy came back.
I know, right?
He tells Luke about a shipment of heroin. And then, actually, I'm sorry, I completely bypassed the first meeting because they didn't really accomplish anything. But this is actually over the phone, where Sugar calls Luke up and tells him about a shipment of heroin on the docks. Because, of course, like we've discussed, nothing good ever happens on the docks or in the abandoned warehouse.
Yep. Policemen should just really build their stations right beside the docks, because, you know, that's where a lot of your job's going to come from, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then as soon as Sugar gets off the phone with Luke, Sugar double crosses Luke by getting on the phone and saying, "Hey, yeah, I called him. He took the bait." So,
Dun dun dun. Lead in.
Misty runs into Cockroach, who had been set free recently, and Misty can't believe it. Now, the reason why this scene is so much fun to watch is because that actor is her husband in real life.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy hell, they're good.
Yeah.
I never would have guessed that shit. Hot damn.
Yeah.
I mean, really? No.
Yeah.
No, you're making that up.
They share the same name. I listened to an interview where she talked about working with her husband. It was pretty cool. Should be Simone Mystic and Dorian Mystic.
Oh, give me a second. He's not on the main list here.
Yeah, I think if you Google Dorian Mystic or Cockroach from Luke Cage.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Cockroach Luke Cage. Yeah, no, here's a picture of them together. Like, the shit. Yeah, I mean, it's totally seeable now. But in that scene,
right.
She was giving him the shit.
Yeah.
Like, did you have to apologize to each other after the camera said cut? I mean...
Right. It kind of makes me wonder because at the end of this scene, as Misty is walking away, he's hitting on her.
Yeah.
And how much of this is adding, and how much of this is just you trying to flirt with your woman?
Exactly. Yeah. I bet you a lot of that was some ad lib at the end there. Like,
yeah.
Hey, come on. Hey, it's cool that you only got one arm. Let's go on a date.
Yeah. Talking about they can get a good handicap spot or something like that.
Yeah. It's like, damn, that was mean.
That was mean. It was very mean. So Luke Cage, he takes Sugar's advice or his information, and he goes to where this heroin shipment is supposed to be.
That sounds so weird. Heroin.
I spent a couple years up there in New York, and I learned more about heroin than maybe I should. But yeah. Anyways, Luke.
That's not misleading. Dun dun dun.
Luke sees this tractor trailer, and he climbs into the back of it, opens it up, goes in, and is at this point where we see Arturo, Mr. Arturo Ray III, the owner of the discount furniture store. He presses a button that detonates the trailer, causing it, of course, to explode. He smiles in enjoyment, thinking that he's done something. Luke Cage emerges, closes the tattered, but Luke is fine.
Yep.
And it's at this point where Arturo pulls out a nice fancy gun, loads that bitch up, shoots Luke Cage with a Judas bullet. At this point, I was like, already? Again?
I know, right? Like, at this point, like, you could hear the difference in bullet. Like, oh, it has a drill sound to it. That's a Judas. And yeah, like, damn, what was this? Episode 1?
Episode 1, yeah.
Yeah, like we're already putting out the daggum Judas. Yeah,
right.
Like, next they're gonna have to get a new type of bullet called the Pontius or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
the Judas bullet is no match for Luke. To everyone's surprise, including Luke. The bullet essentially has no lasting effect. It doesn't penetrate.
It even had a really bad explosion effect.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. Luke easily takes down Arturo, and he leaves a message on the Heroes for Hire app. Not Heroes for Hire. Harlem's Hero app is what they call it. Yeah.
I wish, man. Because then Danny'd be like, is it time yet?
Right.
Oh, boy.
Basically on this little app thing, he says... you can't blast me, you can't burn me, you can't beat me. I'm Luke Cage. If you guys, if you want to, if you want to ass whipping, then I'm here for that ass.
Exactly.
Whipping,
yeah. Step up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then he does an awkward dab, and before he walks away.
Did he dab?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Damn, Luke, don't be that guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was already cool enough.
It was cool.
Like,
you could have left it at that. Yeah.
You could have left it at that, and everyone would have been like 5 stars. Now you did an awkward dab. Prepare to be trolled, man.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah. So Luke, he brings Arturo to Misty, who was at the police station. The police captain and Luke have enough words for us to know that the police captain does not approve of Luke's shenanigans.
And, they quickly replaced police captains.
They did.
Yeah.
Wasted zero time.
Zero time.
And in the last scene of this episode, we see Bushmaster again. He's meeting up with Nigel, and I really love this meeting here with Nigel. Like, what the hell are you doing here? And this very last scene, which, yeah, this is my favorite scene of the episode. Bushmaster brutally kills Nigel. I mean, brutally.
Yeah.
Like, drags a knife across
the eye line.
Across the
like,
brow.
Shit.
Yeah. And shows us some of those badass moves that he has. Takes a couple bullets, rips the shirt open, shows the men, like, hey, look, if any of you want to leave, go ahead and do so.
Yeah. You're staying? We got shit to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's cool how he was a different kind of bulletproof,
right.
He's more like bullet resistant at this point, yeah. But it was super cool seeing his first off, just his speed and his like Jamaican jiu-jitsu. I don't know what you call that.
Capoeira. It is.
Capoeira.
Yeah.
Man.
It's like that, and it's also like a mixture, though.
It's a martial art / dance almost.
Yeah, but
exactly.
he does that and a mixture of another martial arts.
Okay.
Like
badassery.
Not quite jiu-jitsu, but more of not really judo either. I don't know, but it's a really cool and unique art form.
It plays to this character's speed and reach. I'll tell you that much. Like,
what's most to me, like what's most impressive about it is the fact that this giant man does it and it's believable.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because guys, this is no small man.
I was about to say what. Here, look, I got his face right here. Mustafa Shakir.
Yeah.
He is. I'll click on the Wikipedia link. Let's just see all the unnecessary details we have on him.
Does it have his height?
No.
All I know is that like he stood practically eye to eye with Mike Coulter, and Mike Coulter is every bit of like 6'3".
Oh, he actually auditioned for M'Baku in Black Panther.
Yeah, he auditioned for Black Lightning as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. But yeah, no, it doesn't say anything about personal life. Nope, never mind. It doesn't have anything like that. Yeah.
But the guy, he's in very good shape. He's a pretty big guy, and so it was really impressive seeing him, pull that stuff off. But yeah, guys. So essentially, Bushmaster is a villain from the comics. And here in the show, they say that he's from Jamaica, which kind of grounds him more in reality. In the comics, he's from just a mysterious Caribbean island. They don't really specify. But in the comics, also, Bushmaster, he had the same experiment done to him that Luke had done to him. But of course, here for the TV show, they kind of altered it a little bit, and I do like the change.
Yeah, I actually looked it up. In one of the scenes, we mentioned... and we'll talk about it in detail, but it's mentioned like, oh, wait, this is the stuff for Obeah. And I had to stop, rewind, subtitle on, play it again.
Next episode.
Exactly. And it was fascinating. Like, oh, we're kind of taking this into more of a, like, dark magics route. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. And that was a thumbs up moment for me. Like, good job, guys. Yeah.
All right, guys. We're making horrible time here.
Are we? So shit. 50 minutes in. One episode done. Yeah. Let's pace that up. Yeah. You're right.
Episode 202 is Straighten It Out, directed by Steph Green. It opens with Claire. She says that the second immersion in that tank made Luke even more resistant to damage. Because of course in season 1 when he first got shot with the Judas bullet, they had to like redo the whole experiment.
That took 2 whole episodes to heal from.
It did. Yeah, that was something.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. It was a real slow drill.
Yeah. But that second immersion made him more resistant, but it looks like it may have also made him stronger and increased his overall abilities. So Luke, he tests out his new abilities on the field.
It was a fun scene.
It was, yeah. I thought that this was appropriate that you build your hero up before the inevitable fall.
Yep.
Quite literally.
Yep.
Luke's father, he visits the barbershop and, asking for a shape up. And my first thought was, you're bald.
I know, right?
But then he immediately says, you know how it is maintaining a bald head.
I mean, he does save himself, yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Good dialogue.
Right. So he's still obviously trying to talk with Luke. And at this point, we really don't know exactly what the father really wants. Other than he wants to reconcile, but we don't really know what that all entails.
Yeah.
Claire presses Luke to speak to his dad.
Yeah.
And now for me, this is part of a whole ongoing series where, like, I'm kind of rolling my eyes here at Claire again, because my whole thought process, because she doesn't let it go. Throughout the course of these next few episodes, she continuously says, Luke, you need to talk to your dad. You need to talk to your dad. Luke, you wouldn't have all these problems to talk to your dad.
Are you my secretary? No, then skip meeting. Okay, yeah.
Exactly. And I guess my thought is like, why does this bother you so much? Like, you didn't know that Luke had this issue until you heard, oh, you have a dad? Yeah, but your dad's in town? You should talk to him.
Here's a weak defense. She mentions it eventually, talking about, oh, I had, a similar relation, with my father, and I don't want you doing the same thing I did. I played the avoid my daddy game. You shouldn't do the same. And that's something. It gives her a better foothold, but it doesn't make it a strong foothold.
Yeah,
right.
That's still pretty weak sauce, because it's like, if Luke isn't ready to talk to his dad, so why press him so hard on that?
Exactly. Claire, you weren't ready to talk to your dad. Why the hell do you think that was the case? Oh, do you think Luke might be going through something similar? Yeah, come on.
Like, for a character that's so smart as she was, especially like in Daredevil season 1, it's like, how did you get to this point now where, you're doing and saying all these things?
Right. You're adding coal to the emotional trial of the series, really, rather than just like the actual plot problem going on here.
Right.
But anyways.
Yeah, even in my notes here, I have Luke says he will deal with his father when he's ready. Claire continues to press him.
Yep. Be ready now. No, damn it.
Right. The next scene we get here is the first scene with Nandi. Nandi is another detective. Misty is coming back to the force. And her and Nandi have a brief meeting. Hi, how you doing? The whole thing that women do when they pretend to like each other.
Exactly. Yeah.
So already we can sense some uneasiness between these two, especially as Misty goes, oh, well, I'll take my old desk back. Nandi goes, well, there's a perfectly fine desk right over there. Misty goes, no, my desk will do just fine.
Yeah.
In other words, move your shit, woman. This is my desk now.
Yeah. The playing nice card came, fell out of the deck. It's like, oops, rip up.
Yeah. Absolutely. And also, she makes she makes one of many references to Misty's arm or lack thereof.
I got a little tired of those. Right. You think people would give a shit more, Like,
it was...
I don't know.
I get it. Fortunately, it didn't impact the character. It didn't impact Misty that much.
Right.
But, it got so old. And maybe that's what it wanted to portray, is that it was getting old to Misty.
Right. But in that case, I could see it.
Yeah.
It was good because it made us look at it more so from her point of view, which is already hard to do because I have two hands.
Right.
I don't understand her trial. I know it's a trial, but, understanding it, I never want to understand that shit, Yeah. No, I'm a righty.
So is she.
So is she.
Yeah.
I'm a righty. Yeah, she said that in the ring. Yeah.
That she did.
Okay.
The next thing we get here is Misty interrogating a Toro. But before she does, just really quick, before she gets to that interrogation scene, she stopped by Officer Bailey or by Bailey and Nandi again. And Nandi is really being a bitch here. But after she walks away, I don't know if you remember the scene, but Misty's talking with Bailey. That's the white officer that she was friends with.
Right, yeah.
This guy's
replacement.
This guy's acting is atrocious. Like, not just in this scene either. Like, every scene where this guy has dialogue is bad. It's really bad.
The scene I hate the most with him? The show tunes scene.
Oh, yeah.
Because all he does is kind of plasters on this surprise face and keeps just leaning and rocking back in his chair. And it's like, this is gross. This is bad.
It was
uncomfortable.
yeah.
Can we skip? There should be a go ahead 5 seconds button.
Right. I mean, like, his acting was just not there. And it didn't help that his dialogue wasn't that good either. It just highlighted his lack of acting.
The dialogue here is very interesting in all of season 2. It's...
Right. Like, in most cases, like, your powerhouse actors can handle that dialogue and make it, you know, and make it more believable. Almost like another Star Wars reference. Almost like Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. Like, he had some hard shit to deliver, but, you know, Ewan McGregor's a powerhouse actor. So
he is.
He was able to pull most of it off believably. And that's kind of the way it is here with our really strong actors here.
Right. Like Michael, Rosario, they both had some weird lines.
There was a moment, and I mentioned this, I think, maybe during the Jessica Jones review that we did.
Okay.
But Mike Coulter, he does have some holes, and unfortunately they do show here for me.
Yeah.
But no, I just wanted to point out that the guy that plays Bailey, your acting is shite.
Yeah.
Bring back Scarf. Yeah. Misty interrogates Arturo, and it looks like it's going well until that damn lawyer shows up.
He is a great lawyer.
He is a great lawyer.
The right type of sleazebag you want in your pocket.
Hell yeah. And then I also have written down so many arm jokes. Like, we get them back to back here.
Gosh. And you know he was just practicing them to himself on his way in.
Right.
Like, do you need a hand? Yeah, that's a good one. What's another good one? Yeah. I'll give you a hand. Nope, that's bad. No.
Oh, man. Bushmaster goes to... Actually, he doesn't go anywhere yet. Bushmaster says he needs more nightshade. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yep, so Bushmaster needs some more of the special stuff. Shays and Comanche, they kill Arturo.
Damn.
And I actually really enjoy this scene. So Arturo, like we just said, he gets out of jail, you know, because of that awesome lawyer that Mariah hired.
Right.
And he's
best lawyer in Harlem.
Yeah. He's back at his discount furniture store, and Shays and Comanche, they go up in there, and you know, they essentially Arturo is thinking, you guys set me up. And they're like, why would we set you up? Like, we need you to succeed for our plan to work. And he's like, well, no. Like, you know what? As a matter of fact, I could go in and talk to that one-armed, detective. You know, maybe that'll, whatever for you guys.
That was his second mishap he shouldn't have said.
Yeah. Yeah, but he was just blatantly disrespecting Mariah, and then he Shades comes in close, and I'm expecting Shades to beat the hell out of the guy. No, Shades, he pulls out a gun and shoots him right between the eyes. Like, dude, shit.
I gotta say, I don't know the relationship between Shades and Comanche at this point. I will say this, though. This scene was awesome because Comanche is a bro. Man, he's just like, oh, shit. And just real quick gets on the ball here.
But you know what, though? That was probably also equally for self-preservation because he's probably thinking, if I don't kill these guys, they're going to kill us.
Well, that too. But, I mean, he was that much of a bro that there was just no problem with it. You know, he didn't look like he was gonna, I shouldn't kill the, he's just like, oh shit, boom, boom. What did you do that for, man? Like, it was just like sweeping dust under the rug for him, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
That it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really don't know like the depth of their relationship either. We just know that they hung out back in the day.
Right. I mean, at this point, one of the episodes later on, Mike could use a decent flashback or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see. Misty goes to the crime scene where Toro was killed, and she has this interesting vision of what happened.
And it kind of plays on her ability, I say loosely, in season 1 a good bit. Right. Here, you see that it's clouded.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She sees that Toro was killed, and then she sees like a clouded, cloaked figure almost. But she can't quite make out who it is before she snaps out of it. Moving on here, Mariah visits her daughter Tilda, who owns a herbal remedy shop called Mother's Touch. And this is an interesting visit here. Mariah, she's definitely trying to play up that card of the apologetic mother, trying to make amends, but not laying it on too thick, you know. But still trying to make it believable that she wants to make amends with her daughter.
Her daughter's cute as hell, dude.
Yeah. There's a lot of those in this show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Gabrielle Dennis. Yeah.
Yep.
Man.
I guess so. Really quick, what's interesting about her character is that Tilda Johnson is actually a villain in the comics by the name of Nightshade.
Yeah, actually, that says it right there. Nightshade.
Yep. She did kind of have like a weird skill set. She was like a scientist, more like a genetic scientist. She would transform captives into like werewolf slaves.
Oh.
Yeah. I think they're probably going to go a different direction here, but I
hope so.
I think that she probably will still end up as a villain of some sorts.
I could see that.
Maybe something happens to Mariah here at the end of the season.
I kind of guessed that at a later scene whenever we see Gabrielle kind of step into this light again. There was a certain other point which we haven't talked about yet, so I won't unveil it. But at this point, I kind of said to myself, like, she is a lot like her mom. I could see her becoming a type of villain here sometime soon. We'll see.
Right.
Yeah, but
let's see. Luke visits Cockroach's home as the little boy opens the door. The little boy has he's sporting a black eye. And Luke says, "Did your dad do this?" The little boy goes, "Yeah, sometimes he beats me and my mom." And Luke goes, as Luke is leaving, an old lady who was a neighbor to Cockroach opens up her door. And she tells Luke that, Cockroach regularly beats that poor boy and his wife. And she says to Luke, "Give me your phone number and I'll give you a call the next time that he's around."
Yep.
And Luke goes, "Yep, we'll do." And that's...
At this point, did you get tired of the coffee jokes yet?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Because at this point, all right, guys, we get the damn analogy. Coffee, sex.
Right, yeah, we do. We get it. And, maybe this one would have landed harder had we not already gotten so many.
Exactly. And the thing that frustrated me, Bushmaster and his bro even used the joke. Like, okay,
I think part of the joke is supposed to be that not everybody is in on it, but we as the audience are. And so when we hear other people reference coffee, our minds go there, whereas the characters don't. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not trying to defend. I'm just trying to figure out what they're trying to play
right. Out like, why the hell is coffee all of a sudden like everybody's go-to lingo for sex?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I don't know if it is. It's hard to tell. Like, because there's no feasible way that this could be everybody's joke.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly the point. But yeah. Anywho.
Yeah. Luke raids Cockroach's underground casino. Cockroach pulls out a modified 6-barrel motherfucking shotgun.
That should have broke his shoulder. I'm sorry.
Should have broke his shoulder, his sternum, his collarbone.
Okay, the same gun, and real quick, I know we don't got a lot of time. The same gun was already attempted in real life, people, okay? It was an 8-barrel shotgun. It was called the Octagun. It was used by sailors and Navy types way back in the day, okay? You know what happened? It took like 6 men to shoot this gun. And every one of them had to say, boom, okay, I shot it once, your turn. Because it kept breaking their bones.
The worst thing about it is that it still didn't kill Cthulhu.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah. My only guess is that I don't know where he got this gun from. If it's Hammer Tech, then I can slightly defend it with that. But I don't even know if this is Hammer Tech.
I'm pretty sure Justin Hammer would have looked at this and said, the hell is this shit?
Yeah.
Who okayed this project? It obviously wasn't me. Go find that scientist. Take his bird.
Oh, that never gets old.
I love it. I do.
But as he shoots Luke with this ridiculous shotgun, Luke, and here's what really gets me about the scene. I want to be mad at it, but I just find it hilarious instead. It's that Luke watches this man retrieve the shotgun. Right? Luke's like, whatever, I'm Luke Cage.
Exactly. Like, he doesn't think 6 barrels is a big deal. all at once, you know, simultaneous barrel.
Yeah, and Luke is shot with this shotgun, and he
just takes it. He just stands there and says, "Let her rip."
Yep. He did not see this shit coming,
but he did.
But he did. He gets propelled through the window of this second-story building and lands on the car beneath, dislocating his shoulder.
Dun dun dun. No surprise. Like, everyone else watching this is like, really, dude? Really? Okay.
Now, my guess is that I hope that this shotgun was only ever used on Luke Cage and nobody else.
I know, right? Everyone else would be like, ripped to shreds.
It'd be just legs and a missing torso.
Exactly. Misty Knight comes up, tries to do her vision. I can't see it. I don't know what the hell happened here. My vision's not working, man.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
No, so Claire and Luke have another argument after she somehow gets his shoulder back in socket.
Yeah.
And they have another argument again, and then she brings up the dad again.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing that also gets me is that she's like, you need to talk to your dad, Luke. You know, you have all this anger. And I'm like, I think some of this anger is coming from you always mentioning that he needs to
you're not helping here. You're kind of stoking the fire. Yeah.
You know that touchy subject you don't like to talk about? We need to talk about this.
Right. And now it's the perfect time because you just took a big ass blast to the shoulder.
Right. Your one lead just got away from you and he fucked you up pretty bad.
Let's talk about your dad.
Yeah.
It's like at this point, she's playing the part of your computer at home, which is constantly telling you, hey, an update's available. You need to update.
Right.
An update's available. No, I'm busy. I pulled open my computer because I need to use it, woman.
Yeah.
You know, updating thing. Yeah.
Oh, man. Bushmaster gets the ingredients for the nightshade. He goes to visit Tilda, and he gets everything he needs there. And and that's when Tilda's like, wait a minute, this is what are you doing? What are you doing here?
I know, right?
And
I actually looked it up. Obeah is a Caribbean island type of dark sorcery.
Oh.
It's really fascinating. I read up on it a little bit. It's basically a branch of voodoo, essentially. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I was kind of like, oh, well, what the hell did she just say? Obeah.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Yeah, so, dun.
That's pretty cool. I like that. So he gets the ingredients for the nightshade, and I wish I could do a Jamaican accent, but I can't.
I tried it the other day with you. How did it sound?
Did you?
Yeah. Oh, damn. That says a lot.
It does.
My name is Bushmaster. No, you're not feeling it? It's because you're seeing a white dude.
It's not even that. It's not that. It's like...
Him thinks it's his yard. No, that one was bad. That one, I'll give it to you. That one was super bad.
Oh, shit. But no, I remember mentioning it to you off mic maybe yesterday or sometime. The actor here, he's not Jamaican.
Yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah,
and but he does a really good Jamaican accent. I spent a lot of time around the guy that was from Jamaica, and he spoke a lot of patois. And
okay,
and yeah.
See, that's the problem. You know, actual Jamaican. Nothing I do is ever going to sound like that. Shit, man. Looks like we gotta go to Jamaica.
Yeah, and also, like I said, I was in New York for quite some time, in Jamaica, Queens, where, believe it or not, there's some Jamaicans there.
You don't say.
Yeah.
I think it is really cool that the producers are actually giving attention to, like, different chapters, different segments of New York, and then, like, oh, here's an entire thing based on this subject of New York, which is really cool. Yeah.
I will say this though, and this kind of really quick. This kind of hurts Daredevil and Luke Cage a little bit because there's a lot of parts of like the worst parts of Brooklyn, like your Brownsville and your Bed-Stuys, and even your Hell's Kitchen. A lot of that has been gentrified, so a lot of that shit that used to be like perfect for comic book crime material is now kind of like that's where all the hipsters live now.
Basically, yeah. Like Hell's Kitchen. I could totally see Hell's Kitchen falling into that, yeah.
Yep,
Frank Castle running around, and it's like only hipsters and like freaking, what?
Yeah.
Plaid or something, yeah, but whatever.
Oh, man. Next thing we get here is we get we get a musical number here, and they have some amazing music in this season so far. I really enjoy the music. Right here we get Gary Clark Jr. I really like this guy's music.
I actually Shazammed a lot of it. Yeah.
He's got a lot of good stuff. I really like this guy. But Shades tells Mariah that he's getting the money from some other yardie. He's not getting it from Nigel. It's going to be a different yardie.
Yeah.
Mariah really doesn't care just so long as he's getting the money.
Basically.
Yeah.
And at this point, they find out that they were well overpaid asking price.
Well, they weren't given the money yet, but at this point...
Okay.
Tilda comes in and visits Mariah. She let her mother's words get to her, so she's showing up at Harlem's Paradise. And we see shades of... Damn it, I didn't mean to do that. We see shades of Shades getting...
Oh, you son of a
I
gun.
didn't mean... I did. That was not intentional. But we see signs of Shades showing... This is a lot of S.
This is a lot of alliteration. I'm listening in on it. It's like, oh, okay. Showing... what's he showing, buddy? Sinful...
No, symptoms of severe sinful... psoriasis. I couldn't do it.
I just imagine the character in the background showing psoriasis. Like, oh gosh.
Oh shit.
Showing severe symptoms of sinful...
sinful...
sorcery.
Oh, so Bushmaster's not the only one doing voodoo.
He casts dark vision.
Anyway, he's showing signs of jealousy here. He doesn't like anyone getting close to Mariah except for him.
And
he's very overprotective.
This is a little strange for me. Like, I haven't been able to connect with the character on this yet. Yeah,
I mean, I have. Not that I relate or anything, but
right.
It gives him some more depth that he desperately needs.
It does give him more depth. That is true. But then it's like he went from 0 to 60 in my mind.
There's been a large break.
Yeah,
I mean, we can say the same thing about Luke and Claire. Even because there's been a large break.
Yeah.
Like a large time gap here.
True. And I guess that's part of the problem, because I've seen a large chunk and evidences of Luke and Claire's more conjoining and more of their falling in love and all that, more so than I've seen Mariah and Shades. So I'll give you that. There's been a lot more on camera for them than on camera for our criminal couple here. Yeah.
Father James gives a sermon about retribution and its dangers. And Claire is at this sermon, sitting in. And all this is happening to like the backdrop of Gary Clark Jr.'s. He's playing a song here that really matches what we're seeing here.
Yeah.
As the Reverend is giving the sermon, Cockroach is beating his family, and Bushmaster's performing the ceremony. So yeah, there's a lot going on here. But as Cockroach is beating the hell out of his wife and kid, the old lady neighbor that's that lives next door to Cockroach, she calls Luke Cage and she's like, "Hey, he's over here." And Luke's like, "He's there now? I'm on the way." And so Luke heads on down, and he kicks in the door and he proceeds to beat the shit out of Cockroach.
Yeah.
And that's where the episode ends. It ends with him beating the hell out of Misty Knight's husband.
Exactly. To the music, Bright Lights. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. There we go.
But, I mean, it was gruesome. There was one part about it that I did roll my eyes at, honestly.
Yeah.
Whenever, I can't remember the lead-in line, but it was like it was pretty typical, it fit the bill for what was happening on screen, but it was kind of like "Oh, do you want some more, son?" Kind of like a dick dad.
Yeah. What did he say? Yeah, but Luke answered the call.
Yeah, and Luke busts the door down, who somehow obviously heard it in Stampede and everything.
The reason why I was able to buy that, because on first viewing I was like, okay, but on second viewing I bought it because the father was yelling this shit out. So it's not like you really...
Did he yell that line, though? I don't remember if he yelled that one. He was yelling, but I don't even know if he yelled that bit. Because they were already cowering in the corner.
I'm pretty sure he was.
Okay. In that case, I'm willing to forgive it more, because then Luke is just like, what can I say to really be a badass here? Doom! I want some. Like, yeah,
the family sitting down having dinner. Oh, yeah, sure, Luke, come on.
Come on, you didn't have to break the door down, man, but it's cool. I guess you're that hungry? Come on.
Oh, man.
Entirely different scene.
Yeah. And that's where episode 202 leaves us. And with Luke ruthlessly... Oh, well, I say ruthlessly, but for Luke, this is pretty ruthless.
Right. This is a darker side of Luke.
Yeah, because like if Luke really unleashed on this guy, then there'd be nothing left.
No, he'd be dead.
Yeah.
He would have been dead 2 minutes in.
Right.
Yeah.
I love, though, how they appropriately give us this beatdown. Like, for example... Cockroach's face is all swelled up and bruised up from just the backhand, that soft backhand that Luke throws.
Yeah.
Because Luke doesn't do anything else to his face, but that's enough to really just scrub this guy's face.
True.
And that makes a lot of sense because Luke can tap you in the head and knock you out.
Exactly. And they even mentioned that where he can just like thump them with a finger or something and all of a sudden, oh, you're out. But boom.
He's going to do that one day and give somebody brain damage.
I'm pretty sure he already has. There's a criminal out there who has a hard time with vowels now.
With vowel. He's like...
Exactly. Or it's like that... I know I don't have the time. It's like that one Fishman character from the Batman who's like, I'm saying, I'm speaking a normal... I'm going to kill you in your sleep sentence, and all of a sudden, like, random things pop up in the center. You remember the fishbowl?
Oh, yeah.
Like that guy.
Yeah.
See?
Oh, man. Episode 203 is called Wig Out, and this was directed by Mark Jobst, or Jobst. It starts off with Luke. He's asking Claire and Misty, it's like, hey, can y'all keep this one down low? Can you not tell people that I maybe unnecessarily beat this guy a little too much? That'd be nice. And it's at this point where Luke really begins to become moody.
That's a good way of putting it.
It really shows here in 203.
Yeah, this is when the points of view change, as we were talking about earlier. Like, Luke all of a sudden realizes that he's not this big-ass, all-perfect hero, and then that other people in his life, a.k.a. Claire, had some pretty valid points for the most part. Yeah.
My next note here says we see Bushmaster laid up with the bitches. And
this is true.
Yep, not just one, but two. He's got two. Yep. I love this line here. So I guess he's hanging out at a friend's crib, but he comes down the stairs and the guy's talking about Luke Cage, and Bushmaster says, "Him vex me," and the guy goes, "Why?" And Bushmaster says, "Cause him exist," and I love that. Like that. I don't like this guy. Like he really troubles me. Like just his being troubles me.
I gotta say this though, a lot of Bushmaster I love.
Oh yeah,
I cannot wait to dig into this some more.
Absolutely. Like the only reason why Misty is my favorite part of this season so far is because we've gotten way more Misty than Bushmaster,
and this is true.
They've purposely been kind of withholding Bushmaster.
And you know what I can't wait for with Misty? You already know what I can't wait for. I don't gotta say it right now. Oh man, that's gonna be shit.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Misty interrogates Roach in the hospital. She gets in trouble for it.
Of course.
Yep. Of course.
Hey, you're doing your job. Stop it.
Right. Of course, Nadia and Bailey show there, way too late. Police captain gets brought in and Misty gets in trouble. All that good stuff.
Again.
Yep.
Yep.
Luke goes to Nigel's restaurant looking for Nigel.
I liked this scene a lot.
This was very, very, very real. This is a very real scene. Like this shit definitely goes down. And I mean, like, it was almost like they got the actor Mike Coulter to act like Luke Cage, just walk over to where these Jamaicans are playing dominoes. Like, that's what it seemed like.
Yeah.
Because it was great.
It really was.
They just heckled the hell out of him.
Are you looking for a job? No. Then good. Get out of the way. You're blocking the sun.
Yeah.
Like,
go block the sun somewhere else. Yeah. You looking for a wife? Don't nobody want to marry your daughter.
Hey, I love that, dude. Like, all these old men. And they got nothing else to do but sit, play dominoes, and jive at each other all day. It's
That's
great.
what they do. They play dominoes and talk shit. Like, I want to be like that when I'm old.
Exactly.
I just want to play dominoes and talk shit. That'd be nice, yeah.
We gotta learn how to play dominoes first, but yeah.
You don't know how to play dominoes?
Well, I know how to play dominoes.
Okay.
You know how to play dominoes?
Hell yeah.
I was taught by Latinos, though.
I was talking about black people.
Oh, very cool. All right. It's like there's an intense difference in technique all of a sudden. Like, oh, what are... Anyways.
Southern blacks have that. Anyways. Let's see, what I'll leave off at. Oh, yeah. So as Luke is standing there getting heckled by these guys, there's a suspicious man in the corner who gets on his cell phone, then he gets up and leaves. Shades meets with Bushmaster, and he gets the money, and in one of the bags is Nigel's head. And so that answers the question as to where is Nigel. He is very much dead.
It does continue the question, though. What? How'd you clean these bills, man? You know, like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Did you just say, well, throw the head away? I mean, come on, what are we doing here?
Maybe Bushmaster has enough decency to drain the head.
No, man, those bills were bloody. Those bills were red.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, Ben's got a red face today.
That's true. Yep.
Anyways.
Yep, that's a good point. I guess it wouldn't get on all the bills unless it's soaked through deeply.
But in between the panels, I would have loved, like, Mariah opening one of the bags, and, like, they're obviously being shades of, like, maroon and washed out red, and she's just like... She holds up one of the bills. The hell happened here?
Yeah. Let's see, Mariah... Luke follows the suspicious man next, the guy on the cell phone. Next up, Mariah is holding a fancy gala, and she's doing this for the front of opening up this whole family first, facility building.
Right.
But before she gets to that point, Tilda shows up, and Mark Higgins is there, still flirting with Billy. So at this point, it's just a nice fancy gala.
Yeah.
Misty, who's that? Misty is doing some boxing training with Colleen Wing.
Yeah, I was happy to see her.
It was good to see her. It's good to see her come back. Yeah.
Oh, man. She's a good, I don't know if organic is a word, but she's a good, well-placed lead-in into the idea of Danny still somehow being connected while never appearing.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So she's, trying to help Misty out, telling her to focus her chi and all that. Misty's not buying into any of that shit,
Yeah.
But eventually they're like, you know what? Or Colleen says, let's go get some drinks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where that scene leaves us. Claire meets up with Reverend James, and those two really hit it off. They have a good conversation with one another.
Yeah.
And she says that her boyfriend Luther, that he's angry and he's lost his purpose. They laugh and joke about Titanic, and Reverend James asks her, "So do you love Luther?" And Claire goes, "Yes, I do love Luke." Like, God damn it.
I know, right? Like, come on. This is some weak shit. Like come on, Claire.
You can't keep your lies straight for that long, and of course, the Reverend definitely notices that she says Luke.
Yeah.
You can see the look on his face, like, huh, okay. But he plays it cool.
He does. Yeah.
Luke raids Nigel's, now Bushmaster's turf.
True. He rates his yard.
That he does. Yep. And they make a joke about that. Bushmaster goes, "You gonna tell a yard to stay out of your yard?"
I know, right? Yeah.
And they have a fight scene here, and it was during this fight scene where Bushmaster, he's calling his henchman forth.
Yeah, and I looked at this less like a fight and more like an interview of sorts.
Well,
like,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Most TV shows and movies, they do this with the villain hoping that his henchman takes down the threat. But like in this case, Bushmaster knows that no, I just want to see how this guy moves, how he fights.
Right.
And we found that out later.
Yeah. I want to see how invulnerable he is.
Right.
Like, is there like a cap or something? You know? And
yeah, he really steps it up. He starts off with the guy with the chain, and then like there's the guys with the guns, and then there's like the bat and the machete, and then there's the grenade, and then Luke catches that grenade, man, and then, it was nothing.
I loved how it was like. There was obviously premeditation in this. Like, your job is to do this, your job's this, your job's this. You with the grenade, you're not going to toss it at him like you're wanting him to explode. You're going to toss it at him so that he can catch it. Yeah. Like, okay, sir.
He put a lot of faith in Luke Cage, because Luke Cage could have just threw it back or some shit.
Exactly. Like, Luke Cage literally just could have been like, whatever, man, and just toss it right back at their feet. Because every one of them, even Bushmaster, would have taken a hit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, there's also a guy that was filming the whole thing for Bushmaster.
Of course.
Yep. I will also say this, though. With this fight scene, I appreciate this fight scene that they gave us here. However, the character Luke himself really prolonged this fight, because he just could have flicked all these guys one by one, and
like he didn't have to do this like wannabe kung fu thing with like the baseball bat and the machete.
None of that was necessary.
Exactly.
I mean, he even could have taken all of that, and I mean,
he could have stood there, let them swing, and just doom,
just knock them out one by one.
Exactly, and then walk up to Bushmaster and probably try to do that at least.
Right.
Actually, at this point, he would have at least stood a better chance.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. But yeah, so I mean, I guess like for the sake of entertainment purposes, that they had to prolong it, and give us some more meat to this fight scene. So it is what it is. But yeah, he basically tells Bushmaster, stay out of Harlem. That's not your turf, and then he leaves. I don't know how I feel about that still.
I know, right? Like, dude, you didn't stop them. You just let them see what you were capable of. What do you think? Like, your intimidation factor is that strong here that they're just going to want to...
I absolutely think that's what he thought, because that kind of works with, most people. Who's going to stand up to Luke Cage?
I mean, yeah, but they're standing up to Luke Cage, but then there's trying to avoid him while still doing what the hell you're doing beforehand, At this point, he left them capable of still doing crime.
He did, absolutely, yeah.
I mean,
he could have potentially ended this operation before it really began.
Exactly.
But no, he does just kind of walk away, like, stay in my yard, and then he leaves.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, deep down, he's just like, man, right now I look like a real badass. I'm gonna walk away.
They saw me catch that grenade.
I knew I could do that shit. I wasn't second guessing myself. I was totally second guessing.
Yeah. It's like acting like a broken pinky, but I didn't want to show it.
Actually, whenever he gets outside of the shed, he's just like, okay, my hands are still really hot. Okay.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. The next thing we get here is Mariah. We're back at the gala here, and she's raising money to build that new Family First facility. There goes more alliteration. And she tells the story about her husband. Essentially, what the Family First facility is like a place that has like it's a positive place for the community.
Right, it's like a government assistance type place.
Yeah, it's that mixed up with like a super high end boys and girls club. Yeah. Just a really good all around place for the community that has basically everything that a community would ever need.
Right.
And of course, she does like any politician, man. She, she gives a good spiel.
Yeah.
And all good intentions and all that. And then she tells the story of her husband as her daughter Tilda is out in the audience in attendance. Mm-hmm. About her husband was 8 years her senior, and he was a doctor. And
real quick,
yeah,
do you believe the story?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Interesting.
There's probably I think it's probably true. I guess from my point of view, it'd be dumb on her part to really lie about that, because there's people there that know her past.
True. I will say this though. I think there's a lot of elements of truth there. I think there are certain parts of it that are less true. You know, but I don't know. We'll see as that unfolds, if that even matters.
I think that if there's one bit of fallacy in that, it's probably when she said, "My husband died the day I found out I was pregnant." There's probably a lot more to that.
Exactly. Like, that's the point. Like, okay, wait, how did he die?
Right.
Yeah. But
the next thing we get here is the bar scene, which is probably my favorite part of this episode.
the bar scene was great.
So it starts off with Colleen and Misty. They are just wasted. They are lit as lit can be. And
I love how it starts.
Well, yeah,
the library.
Yeah, they're talking about what they would do if they won $1 million. And Colleen is talking about she would go to the British Library, which is like the second biggest library in the world, next to this other library.
Yeah,
and Misty's like, really, a library?
Wait, but it would cost money to go into those libraries? Like, I don't know. I've never been, but it's like, what's the entrance fee here? I just want to read.
Right.
I don't want to rent.
I would go in there and I would just read all the books. And I'm kind of with Misty on this one. No, that is lame. No.
Like, that's a cool pit stop, but you shouldn't pay for that.
Yeah, that's not the full extent of what you do with that $1 million.
No, like, make it happen in, like, a cool place. Like, go to Paris and then...
But also, neither is Misty's. Misty said that she would buy a Ford Mustang V8. She said with stainless steel water pumps, is in plural. Now, guys, here's the thing about me that you may or may not know. I work for a parts department at now 2 different dealerships, a Mopar dealership and now a German dealership. And I must say that I've seen some fancy high-end model vehicles, and I've gone in with these intricate parts breakdowns. I've never seen a vehicle that had multiple water pumps, and first of all, every single water pump you get is mostly gonna be steel, or it's gonna be metal already.
So there was some shit that she was
asking for. Like, whoever wrote this did not know cars that well, because she said, like, and I wanted to have stainless steel water pumps, plural. I'm like, what the shit? What did you just say?
Well, here, wait, here we go. Hear me out, okay? This is stupid, but hear me out.
Listening.
Okay,
I'm listening.
They weren't actually water pumps of car parts. See, that's where the assumption came in. That's where we heard incorrectly. What she really wanted was, on the dashboard of the car, a pump where she could get a cup of water while she's driving, man.
You get the hell
out. Water pump.
Get the hell out of my house.
I told you it was stupid. Oh, man. I amused myself. But I could just see her now. She's driving with one arm, and then she puts that knee up there to drive with the, hold the steering wheel with the knee, and then she's like, well, then again, how's she holding the cup?
Yep.
She needs it right over the cup.
Right. And also, my biggest point, though, is that even if this magical Ford Mustang did exist, it would still literally only cost you, at the most, like $45,000.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
It helps to have this inside information, because, I mean, hearing that, I didn't really roll an eye or anything. It was like, okay, she wants a car. Yeah. She wants a really cool car. Right. A car, important to her. Sure. Yeah. But, hearing that, it's like, damn, you both have fallen short.
Exactly.
Danny's behind the bar clearing off the countertop. He's just chuckling.
Yeah.
That's chump change.
It really is. Like, I mean, you had to buy like a McLaren or like a Murcielago to really blow $1 million on a car. And even then, you still have money left over.
Yeah. Shit.
Oh, shit. Anyways, so we haven't gotten to the meat of this bar scene yet.
We really haven't, yeah.
So some guy named Morty.
I know, right?
Walks up.
Morty.
Yeah. And he's trying to hit on the two, and then he recognizes Misty, and he goes, "Hey, you the bitch that got my brother locked up."
I couldn't decide what was happening here. Like, at first it was obvious, he's just trying to hit on some ladies. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's always that guy out there. But then it quickly turned into, like, was he just trying to set himself up to where he could all of a sudden flip the card surprisingly, because it didn't seem like wait a minute, I recognize you. It was more like oh, hey, what's going on, girl? How you doing? You want to get together? You put my brother in jail.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
It was more of a by the way thing than it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is an interesting scenario. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's true. I'm not really sure why that was.
Like this character, this person played dual roles here, and it was interesting that they wrote him in like that.
I mean, I wish they just would have clarified one way or another, but you know, anyway, that
who knows? Maybe that was his original agenda, and then he's like, oh well, I guess I'll just get the revenge.
That leads to a big fight. At first, Misty, she can definitely hold her own until she tries to throw a punch with her right arm.
Yeah.
She realizes it isn't there. She gets smacked down. Yep. She looks up to Colleen like, you gonna tag in? And Colleen's like, nope.
Yeah.
And
nonverbal communication, man. Yeah. She's just sitting back, sipping her beer still. Like, okay.
What you gonna do about it? Yeah. And Misty gets up, man, and she learns to... She learns to hold her own until a guy breaks a bottle and attempts to go at Misty. Then Colleen steps in and they both kick a lot of ass. Yeah. This was a very fun scene. I like this scene. Yeah. I like this a lot.
And admittedly, I loved like a lot of the kung fu aspects of Iron Fist.
Right.
Like actually, it's been tempting me, but watching Luke Cage 2, I told myself that after this, I was going to go back and watch Iron Fist again because I just kind of want to see that some more. But no, I loved watching both of them,
Right.
Ladies against the bar.
And I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure that the actress is an actual martial artist. Like, she actually knows her shit, which is why people made fun of Finn, the guy that plays Finn Jones, who plays Iron Fist, because he does not actually know martial arts, whereas she does.
Let's see what happens here. Keep talking. I'm gonna find it out actually.
Okay. And so for the second to last scene of this episode, there's this big argument between Luke and Claire, and they both say a lot of things that there's truth to both of their sides of the argument. Claire is saying essentially that Luke really needs to learn to control his anger and that he needs to talk to his dad before that anger continues to fester and grow. And Luke says, I don't need to talk to my dad. Why do you keep pushing this? Why do you keep testing my manhood? And what I have here in my notes after watching this scene multiple times is that Luke wants to be Batman, but Claire wants him to be Superman. That's essentially what this comes down to.
Okay. That's some cool shit.
I mean, Luke even says that that putting fear and intimidation into his act is getting more progress. So why not do that? That's Batman's method. Mm-hmm. And Claire's like, no, you don't have to be that ruthless. You have all this power. You could just easily take them down, and you can still be Harlem's hero. That's the Superman approach. So yeah, it's just a difference in philosophy between Batman and Superman right now. But it was really when she starts to mention his dad again that Luke has just had enough of it, and he punches a hole in the wall. And by the way, that wall should have completely collapsed. Yep. How hard he hit it.
Yep.
Like, I mean, you
dented sheetrock, but exactly. Come on.
You or I could do similar damage to a wall made of that material.
Yeah.
But Luke punching a wall like that should bring down that entire wall. Like, it really should. Claire says that Luke should leave, and Claire says that she's leaving. She's gonna go spend time with her mother. She's gonna go take some time away. She's gonna go to the beach, all that good stuff. You see, so Claire says she's leaving. This scene right here, you can tell, was definitely orchestrated to be a really big and important scene in the series. However, to me, this is where the hole in Mike Coulter's acting really shows. Because he can't carry emotional material that well. And it was kind of awkward because Rosario Dawson, she can, and he really can't. And so there was a lot of this dialogue here, a lot of this back and forth where it seemed like Rosario was upset, but it seemed like Mike Coulter was just acting.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because the dialogue here, you could tell it was a written fight. It wasn't like an organic, feels real fight because like the dialogue was going into weird directions and whatnot. I went back and had to watch the scene twice. Yeah. Both times I came across it in my watching. So a total of 4 times now. And I don't know, like the fight itself was just like they purposely made Claire say the things that were going to offset him rather than have an actual conversation at points, you know? And then you're right, Mike Coulter's acting was more just like they told him you need to lead up to punching the wall and he didn't.
Right, and it's not just super angry Luke Cage that he can't do that well. It's also really sad, remorseful, and regretful Luke. He can't really do that well either.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and it also really stands to contrast once again against Claire, against Rosario Dawson's portrayal, because she is really good.
She's good. Yeah.
And so like, you know, when she's delivering her lines, it's like she can hide the cheesiness in the dialogue with her acting.
Yeah.
But Mike Coulter really can't.
No offense, Mike.
No offense to Mike. Like, and that's the thing. Like, for most of Jessica Jones, he was able to cover that up. For Luke Cage season 1, he was able to cover that up.
Also,
because they didn't have him go that direction.
Right. Like, this is probably the most dramatic moment we've seen him in.
Yeah.
That I can think of off the cuff.
Right. Yeah, it is. And, you know, unfortunately, he can't really carry it that well yet.
Yeah.
No offense. Like I said, no offense to Mike Coulter. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Last note for this episode: Sad Luke is sad and sucker punched.
Yeah, for real. Sad Luke is a zombie walking through the streets, and then all of a sudden, daggum, you know, uppercut out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Like, that fist had to come from down here up out of nowhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, freaking, Bushmaster, he hid in a manhole underground, and then Street Fighter Dragon uppercutted himself out of that manhole.
Exactly. Like, at best, I'll give him, he was hiding behind like a newspaper stand. And he was just like, please don't be walking too far away from my newspaper stand. Oh, he's really close? Okay. Yeah!
Now, I don't have a problem with this scene because obviously Bushmaster was looking for Luke Cage in Luke Cage's yard. Yep. But what I found hilarious is from Bushmaster's perspective, like, where is he? What's that fool, Luke? Oh, there he is.
There he is.
He didn't paying attention. I'm about to get him.
Yep.
About to get him. Here he goes. I got him.
Like, everything was perfect for Bushmaster to inevitably win.
Right.
You know, he's all hocked up on his juju, you know, he's got his shit in order. Yeah.
Right. And that's where 203 leaves us. I will say this. With Netflix, of course, watching this is different versus watching something on cable or anywhere else because you can just go straight to the next episode.
Yeah.
However, even with that being said, even if it was cable or Netflix, I feel like the best way to end this episode would be with the entire fight. I think that you end it with the entire fight versus starting it off with a replay from a slightly different perspective and then the entire fight.
I can see it either way, honestly. You know,
it's because ending it with the sucker punch.
Yeah. I will say this though, it's something that Netflix does pretty well. All the Netflix original shows and whatnot. The surprise ending, you know, the last little cliffhanger that they just drop into the recipe of every show, you know.
But see, that's the thing with this being a Netflix show. What use is a cliffhanger? Like that's the strength of a weekly program. I don't really see that being the strength of something that you have right there at your fingertips.
Hey, I mean, you never know. Yeah, sure, binge watching is a common thing, but then with a lot of people, they might have said, "Oh, okay, this isn't really interesting. This isn't catching me yet. I'm not going to watch the next episode." Sucker punch. What just happened? Oh, you know what? I'm curious. Let me see. And then it continues to hook them and continues to give them views. So there's either side to it, really.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I didn't think that. I'm not marking the episode as bad for that, but for me, I just thought it was. I thought they could have got more juice out of it during the entire fight within this episode.
Okay.
But I guess maybe they did because They kind of needed that for this episode for 204.
Yeah, it was a really cool lead-in for this, seeing the whole fight, because, again, watching Bushmaster fight really helped solidify who he was as, quote-unquote, the villain right now. Yeah.
So episode 204 is called I Get Physical, directed by Sally Richardson Whitfield. It starts off with Bushmaster beating the hell out of Luke Cage. The DW, the guy that's been recording all of Luke Cage's stuff.
Yeah, it's cool that they made him a staple character.
Yeah. He comes up to Bushmaster and goes, "Who are you?" Bushmaster goes, "I'm Bushmaster, the stone that the builders refused."
I love that shit. Oh my gosh. Guys, you have no idea. So, first watch through. I'm watching it. I'm the stone the builders oh shit.
Yeah.
I can't Jamaican.
No.
But I'm the stone the builders refused. Pause. Lean back. Ponder. What the shit did he just say? Rewind. Play. Watch again. Flip out. Oh shit, that was so cool. I even texted Q Q, this is some shit, man. Yeah.
What do you think he means by that? I'm the stone the builders refused.
So that's why I had to sit back and ponder. What are you saying here? Like you're that adamant rock. You are that hard-headed, stalwart creature that is not going to bend to another man's will. You're not going to bend to another force, which is supposedly, it's supposed to make you fit into the bill here. You're supposed to be another brick in the daggone wall.
Right.
But no.
He won't mold.
I'm not going to change, I'm ready to kick some ass, know. I'm the stone you're going to refuse.
Yeah.
So that, when I heard that, was like, that says so much and so little, and that's genius.
It was genius.
It's good.
Yeah. I would say this, with the information we get throughout this episode, I think we could also surmise that he, specifically his family, played a large role in what Harlem is today in this version of Harlem, and specifically Harlem's Paradise, and like the way that things are run underground in Harlem, by what he says in this episode. But the fact that he and his family weren't willing to comply with what the Stokes were doing, they were seemingly cast out, it seems.
That's what I'm kind of piecing together myself too.
But because they refused to conform, and so I kind of got that vibe as well.
Okay, it'll be interesting to see if that plays in. Yeah. It would also help explain why he has such a hard-on for the idea that her last name isn't Dillard, it's Stokes. Yeah,
because he wants to call her for what she is. Because the whole thing about season 1 was really about Mariah not wanting to be that,
right? Pretending she's not part of the Mama Stokes heritage.
Yeah. She's a Dillard. She got married. She's a Dillard. All this and that. She's not associated with the Stokes name. But we're gonna get there. Luke goes to the barber shop and he is showing signs of a concussion. Like the light is really getting to him. He's dizzy headed. He's spitting up blood. He's not in a good way. What's funny here is that when Bobby Fish comes in to talk with him, he's like, "Oh, what happened to you?" And Luke goes, "I got ambushed." Now when he goes, "I got ambushed by a Jamaican cat," and I'm like, okay, now when you say the word ambush. Like, if I tell you, Kevin, that I got ambushed, there were at least 3 people. Okay?
Right. Like, that's what my mind pieced together, too. Like, if you get ambushed, like, who the hell did you piss off? And why did they have that many friends, you know? Yeah.
That's like saying I got jumped, but it was only one person. So I thought that was just a funny line.
Yeah.
I got ambushed.
I mean, it's not wrong, but...
it's not wrong.
Okay.
Next scene, we're back at the police station here, and this is your favorite scene, Kevin, of Nadi singing Broadway.
Oh man, let me tell you.
Oh, you love this scene.
I love gritting my teeth. Ooh-wee.
And like you said, this part right in particular was so awkward because she had this actress. She has a very beautiful voice.
She does,
but it comes out of nowhere because she's singing Broadway, and then Bailey's just sitting there with that weird ass look in his face.
It's like they did. I don't know if there's a proper terminology for it or not, but it's like actor friendly Easter eggs. Where it's like, oh, what's your talent? Oh, you have this cool talent. Okay. well, you as an actor, we're going to use your talent in this character's part here, and it's been done in other TV shows, like Ron Swanson's a great example. They made him a woodworker on the show. Yeah. Well, the actual dude is a woodworker hard, he does that shit real. So it's like, okay, that works really well in that example. Don't.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. I don't have enough time to say it. Let's go.
So I spent way too much time on this throwaway line in this next part here.
What's up?
Okay, so for those who don't know me, I'm also balls deep into extreme sports. Not extreme like snowboarding or anything like that, but like physical sports. Like I watch a lot of MMA, and I love to watch a lot of boxing, specifically classic boxing as well.
Right.
Now, what happens here is that they all watched the Luke Cage beatdown video, and Misty isn't having any of it. She's like, "What are you talking about? Turn that off." What do you mean? Because Bailey was like, "Oh, look what happened to Luke." Kind of cheering the whole thing on, and then Bailey goes, "Well, I'm sorry, Misty, but what you think when Tyson lost then?" And then Misty goes, "I was 5 when Tyson got beat." And then my brain automatically goes, "Wait a minute, stop right there." Okay, because in season one, we know that Misty is supposed to be about the same age as Luke Cage.
Okay.
They don't give us any clarification as to what age that's supposed to be.
Sure.
But if she was 5 years old,
when
Mike Tyson got beat.
Yeah.
Okay, so in order for that to happen, Mike Tyson, he lost to Buster Douglas back in 1990. I think it was February.
Okay.
When he got knocked out, like the knockout that shook the world, Buster Douglas, he retired after this fight. He was like, "Fuck this, I'm done."
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah.
I think there may have been a rematch actually, but it wasn't long before Buster retired, so I'm done. Anyways, after Buster surprised the world by knocking out Tyson in 1990, that means that Misty was born in 85, which still makes her significantly younger than Luke Cage, which kind of contradicts their very first scene together.
Yep.
But no, my mind just went way, way balls deep into that.
No, and you're right, and I'm going to do another weak attempt at defending the show, putting information into it again. She was just pissed. She didn't want this person who's kind of playing like her cop rival part here to have any footing on her. So it's like, woman, please, I was 5. Like, okay, you're exaggerating, but I get your point.
Right.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just thought that was funny.
Yeah. Good job for looking that deep into it. I appreciate that.
Mariah and Piranha, they begin to celebrate because they get all that money and all that. They actually have the money now.
I liked Shades here.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. Shades doesn't like any of this celebration. He's feeling that something's not right. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad they brought this all together because I was afraid that this was just going to be a big ass plot hole.
Right.
Thankfully, they resolved it.
Yeah.
So Shades is like, I don't like this. Like, where I come from, like the money isn't ours until we actually have the money here. Like, so, like we just made the investment. We just got, Mark Higgins to, sign and all that.
Yep. Check.
Yep. But, yeah, so he's like, what are we celebrating? And Piranha, he's like, well, I don't want to, bug you with
He's being a sleazy salesman.
He is.
And he's so good at it.
He is.
This actor
really
especially is doing a great job. But it's like, no, you dirtbag. You tell me where the shit my money is right now.
Right. And he gives that good excuse, goes, your money right now is off in the Cayman Islands where the FBI, where all the feds can't touch it right now. So your money is safe right now.
Yeah.
In the offshore's account. And
Mariah's all digging it. She's cool with it. She's okay.
Mm-hmm. But Shay's just like, nah, man, I don't like
He's throwing shade at it, yeah. Hey, you did it earlier. I'm doing it now.
Mine was unintentional. Yours was
mine was
planned.
A punch in the face.
It was.
No regrets.
Oh shit. And then also it's at this moment where Mariah reveals that she actually put the club up in order to make this investment happen. And she's like, what the hell, woman?
At this point, I'm just waiting for the inevitable breakup or equivalent of in the plot line between these two now, you know?
Yeah, I don't know how that happens because there's so much money tied up in all this. Like,
right.
A breakup is really not in the question if you're in that situation.
There's got to be something, a fight or
I
than a fight, you know? But, yeah.
They're definitely leading towards that.
Yeah.
The Luke Cage beatdown goes viral. Like, it's on TV, it's everywhere.
I mean, ESPN's covering it, like, what the hell?
Yeah. It was actually an ESPN announcer, but they said it was on BET. They had the BET logo in the corner.
Okay.
So,
cool.
Yeah. Why is DW selling copies of the Luke Cage beatdown if it's free everywhere now?
Hey, man, if you can swindle...
No, my thing is, though, why would I pay for something I can literally get for free?
See, that's the problem. You have logic. Other people, might not in this case. Also, just real quick, maybe, who knows, they loved it so much and they're so caught up in the news of it all that it's like, oh, I want to have this moment for history. Let me buy this. Let me chronicle this as a thing that happened with this video as evidence. Like, okay. That's me putting a huge, saving attempt.
You're right. Yeah, that is
the show.
Yeah, that's definitely something there, buddy. I can say this: I love Stranger Things both seasons.
Yep.
I would never buy the Blu-rays.
No, they're on Netflix.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're on Netflix.
I just became a living example of that logic. Like, hell no, it's on Netflix. I don't need to chronicle that shit. It's chronicled for me. So you and I would not, swindlers wouldn't win that over on us, but that being said.
Oh, man.
I gotta get some water. What the shit? Where's my stuff?
Oh, man. Comanche, he's been pissing Mariah off this entire series, this entire season. And
he just had it out for him.
Yeah, well, he's been saying some really unruly
he's
shit.
speaking his mind. Yeah.
A little too much at times, though. But here, he actually brings up a good point. Mm-hmm. So he says to her that, when he was in time, he studied a lot about accounting and moving money around and things of that nature. Mariah makes a Bernie Madoff joke. First of all, because she goes, "Oh, were you cellmates with Bernie Madoff?" My thought was like, you don't want to learn anything from Bernie Madoff. That man didn't do shit. Like he was just the first to really swindle people. But anyways, Comanche's telling her, "Look, if he can't explain your plan to you, then chances are he's swindling you."
Exactly.
Like, you're being scammed.
I love the way he said it, because there's a mark of wisdom there, at least in what he's talking about. Like, if you can't explain the plot to a 7-year-old, then chances are you're being tricked, you know? And I love that because there's a lot to be said there. Right. It's a sign of wisdom to be able to explain something super complicated to a child's mind.
Exactly. It does make me wonder, though, because Mariah, she's not a dumb character. She may not be as well versed in this lifestyle as Shades or Comanche, but she isn't a dumb character. This is kind of a dumb move, though, to ignore both Shades' approach and Comanche's. Like, when two people are telling you that, hey, something's fishy going on here, maybe you should give pause.
I mean, it looked like she was open to it more so by the end of that scene, because she's looking at her Apple laptop and she's kind of like... she's looking questionative, Yeah. So there's hope that she's, the gears are coming into place. Like, wait a minute, this dirtbag, he might have had. Oh shit, he made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. So the next scene that we get here is Shades. He's theorizing, and this is where I'm glad they introduced this this concept here, because they needed something to solidify this whole plot.
Yeah.
Shade, he's theorizing that Bushmaster, he bought the guns from them to weaken them, and which was a really good theory, because originally I was wondering, like, why would Bushmaster buy the guns? Because Bushmaster doesn't need them. Yeah. But he's just essentially giving away his money to Mariah at this point. Like, why would he give all of his money to her and then some?
Exactly.
But now Shades is putting it all together after he sees Luke Cage beat down. He's thinking that no, he didn't buy the guns because he needed them. He bought the guns to weaken us so he can more easily take us over.
Yep.
And once again, I'm so glad that Shades is showing more in this season, because good grief, when I first saw him in this season, I'd had it. But by episode 4, he's starting to show signs of life.
Yeah.
There we go. Comanche warns Mariah of Piranha. She's he says she's not afraid of Mariah, but Mariah says he should be.
I like Comanche.
Yeah. Oh, I do and I don't like. Yeah.
I mean, I want more out of him, and
Right.
we're about to see some more out of him. You know.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I really enjoyed this next performance. I enjoyed all the performances in this show. By the way, like they've all been really good, but this one right here was really good. It was performed by what's his name, Christone Kingfish Ingram, and he's singing "Thrill Is Gone" by BB King. This kid's only 18 years old.
Really? He looked young, but that young?
Yeah, he's only 18.
Damn.
Yeah.
And they gave him 2 songs in the show.
Yeah. I mean, he's damn good, man. Kid's really talented.
I mean, yeah, he was killing that guitar.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, dude.
Yeah, with the vocals to match, like, yeah, he was damn good.
Like, you're set, bud.
Yeah, I was
you're
impressed.
Done.
Yeah.
You've won life. Here's your
Right.
ticket.
Oh, your damn talents.
I know, right?
I'm over here podcasting.
We in the wrong line of work. I started slapping bass.
Oh, man. Luke visits Tilda's shop. He gets a pretty nasty herbal shot.
No surprise.
Yep. He gets a vague response from her when he asks, have any big Jamaicans been through? And she's like, well, that's half my clientele. But, here's the thing. Like, they both could have cut this shit. Luke could have said, oh, so you have seen the tape. This guy that kicked my ass, was he in here?
He could have used that wording, sure, but then it would have been way less flirtatious.
Yeah.
At least you got to the damn point,
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. But no, you're right. There was a lot of time wasted here, unnecessarily so, because she's like, well, no, that's a lot of my clientele,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing that really confused me, because once they got to the point where Tilda reveals that she had seen the tape, I mean, Luke really just could have been like, okay, cool, was this guy in here? But he never goes any further with it.
No, he really doesn't. He gets caught up in the flirtatious moment, man.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's like,
and maybe it's the concussion. Maybe we should just chalk it up to that concussion.
that's a mercy chalking.
It is.
But yes.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't even know if I would like anything to happen, to anything else to stem from this meeting of these two, I don't know. I'm kind of hoping she does become a villain type,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
she
see.
very well could.
She creates werewolf babies.
Yeah. Next up, Bushmaster, he visits Mariah, and this is a pretty cool scene here.
I liked this one.
Yeah, I did too. He asked her if she knew who built this place, who did the carpentry around here, and Mariah goes, yeah, it was my grandmother and my uncle and one other associate, I forget the name, and Bushmaster says, oh, have you ever heard of Quincy McIver? And she goes, nope, haven't heard of him. And if my grandmother or my uncle never mentioned him, then he probably wasn't that important.
Was it her grandmother or grandfather?
I thought it was Mama Mabel.
I don't remember. It might have been either at that point.
Yeah.
Grandmother or grandfather.
Right.
But it was someone of her past. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Kind of irrelevant to the current, like, if it was
Right. At this point, the more important subject matter is,
It was
did
someone
they
that-
have a partner, and
Yeah.
What's the history with them?
Mariah is saying that it was strictly like her relatives that built this.
Exactly.
And
like it was 100% Mabel power.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was all Stokes. And
or there you go.
And Bushmaster is saying that, well, no, there was someone else by the name of Quincy McIver, who is an obvious relative to Bushmaster. His name is John McIver.
Yep.
So he's saying that there was a Quincy McIver that helped build this place, that helped build Harlem's Paradise, and that that they profited off of his blood, off of his sweat. And as he's also he gets Bushmaster rum to drink. Which is,
it's really interesting how often the name is coming up here.
Right.
It's like I'm not sure where their name even originates anymore. You know. Because the Bushmaster was kind of like brought up in like a Jamaican tale that they were already talking about previous to this, but then it's also the name of this really fancy rum that now has to go extinct because the original owners are dead and they never shared the secret. So,
well, I mean, my guess is that it all originated from that folklore tale. That the rum came from the folklore tale, because why not name it something cool like that?
True.
And then, why wouldn't this mystical, seemingly impervious man name himself after that legend?
Yeah.
But, so as she's leaving, he goes, you have a good night, Miss Stokes. And she flips her shit.
She flips out. Yeah. She's not okay with that.
Yeah. She goes, my name is Dillard, bitch.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, you need to calm your shit, woman.
I know, right? You're showing too much here. Yeah.
Like,
you're losing the criminal meeting.
Right, yeah. I mean, not only would you obviously lose the physical battle, but he's also in your head now.
Exactly. Like, that's exactly how you're losing this shit. Yeah, like you, strategically speaking, you just made yourself a weak player to him.
Oh, yeah. Comanche, Shades is looking for Comanche, but Comanche's nowhere to be found. He said he had to go visit his mother. And this next scene, we see Comanche's meeting with the police captain. Dun, dun, dun.
But it's interesting because Shades, had a spark of interest in that. He said, wait, did he actually say that he's going to meet Janice? And he said that name. So I'm curious how that's going to play out, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we know that Shades has been following people around, specifically Bushmaster and several other people throughout the show. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if next episode Shades is somewhere lurking around, seeing that Comanche's been meeting with chief of police.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, so Comanche, he's an informant. He wasn't released from prison. Well, he was, but because of the police captain, police captain got him out to be an informant to spy on Shades and Mariah to give information.
Which is smart.
It is smart, yeah. Fortunately, Comanche isn't so dumb as to give himself away. But if he keeps pissing Mariah off, he's not going to get anything.
Exactly, and I think it's going to be one of those slow burn things. Like, I do believe eventually something's going to happen, some turn of events, which is going to open the door more for him, and she's going to more welcome him even, and I'm waiting for that. I don't know how it's going to happen, but at this point, it wouldn't be a surprise if it did.
Right.
Yeah.
Back at the police station, there is a letter on Misty's desk. It contains a letter and a blueprint.
Yeah.
And
we all recognize that Rand emblem.
Yeah, it's from Danny and it's from Colleen.
Ooh-wee.
Now, at the end of Defenders, didn't they also introduce the blueprint?
I'd have to go back and watch. I don't remember. Yeah.
Because if they did,
they're slow in putting it together. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because there was even no mention of it. I could just be making this up. Maybe there wasn't a blueprint.
Maybe not.
But if there was, you will hear about this in part 2.
I just want to see it. That's all. Yeah. I just want to see that shit.
Yes.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so she gets the blueprint and she gives it a look of approval. And so do we as an audience.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And again, it's obvious at this point for a lot of the listeners, but it is also true to the comics that this character in the comic line also did have a metal arm.
Yeah, and she also works a lot with Colleen Wing in the comics. They're actually known as the Daughters of the Dragon in the comics. And they do work similar to Heroes for Hire, but on a more police-like level. So yeah, that's pretty cool to see them go at it like that. Cool. Yep. Next up, is the last scene of the episode, in which actually this is my favorite scene up until the last moment. But the this actual scene here between Luke and Bobby, I think, was a shot in the arm that this entire season needed, and I loved it. So they're just having barbershop talk. Luke is sitting in there kind of reminiscing, and Bobby comes in. I forget the actor's name that plays Bobby, but he's been really good, a really strong, consistent actor all throughout the series.
Ron Cephas Jones.
That's right, Ron Cephas Jones. Yeah.
Cephas. There it is. Cool.
Yeah, I really.
He's great.
He is great.
Yeah.
He really is a lot of fun to watch.
I love some of the cool, just obvious suave dude lines he drops, and it's like, damn, you're classy.
Yeah, he's got that old man swag, man.
He really does. Yeah.
But yeah,
I woke up like this.
Yeah. He comes into the barbershop, and he sits next to Luke, and they just have casual talk, man, and it kind of gives the entire season room to slow down and breathe, but also just to give us a good character relationship between these two. And it was so neat. I didn't realize how much the season needed this until they gave it to us.
Right. It really did a service, because you're right, it slowed it down and it anchored it back into like a type of reality
right.
here. It stopped us from getting so lost in like the different directions of the plot, and helped us to kind of like connect again with everything going on.
It gave us time to relate again to Luke Cage as an actual person and not just some caricature.
Right.
It gave us time for us to really relate to these characters, realize that they are human, and that's really what this whole sit down is about. It's about Bobby saying to Luke, like, you can't have emotions like a normal man because you ain't no normal man.
Yeah.
You can't afford to have those luxuries. Every man struggles with relationships. Every man struggles with anger, but you gotta control that, because you're Luke Cage. You're not just
because when you get angry, people get hurt.
Yeah. Bobby also says that he has good news and bad news. He says that the bad news is his daughter in San Diego is sick and she needs a transplant. Then he says the good news is he's a perfect match for a donor. Mm-hmm. And he goes, because earlier on in I think like episode 2, we hear him talking to Claire about his daughter and about how they don't speak much. But here he's saying that he spoke with his daughter, and he said that he'd be willing to be her donor, and she said that that he was her hero, and he said that he fell apart then, and he looks to Luke and says, that must be how you feel all the time. I thought
you could see it in Luke's face, like,
yeah. I thought this was great. I thought it was great stuff.
It was, and even to a certain level, it's allegorical. But I mean, dadgum, dude,
right?
That character, Bobby Fischer.
Bobby Fischer is a good.
Everyone
character,
needs
man.
a Bobby Fischer, man. You really do.
Yeah. And it's at this point where Bobby's like, well, so I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna go to San Diego, man, and see my little girl. And Luke goes, go be a hero.
Yeah, do what you gotta do.
They have a really touching goodbye. And there's a song playing in the background. It's a classic R&B song, "Golden Time of Day" by Maze and Frankie Beverly. Classic R&B song. It was perfect for this scene. Also, perfect backdrop music for the scenery. And they have a tearful goodbye, and that Bobby leaves. So I know the reason why this scene was so good is because, once again, like, they showed us just how cool and almost how needed the character of Bobby Fish has been, and now he's leaving.
Yeah.
And also Claire is gone.
So Luke, really, all the anchoring supports in his life are slowly dismissing themselves one by one.
Yeah.
So he's gonna really have to, find a way to recenter himself here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we send her his chi with the help of...
there it is, yeah. Meditation.
But I really love that scene, and I hate this last shot, though.
Yeah, this one was like, okay.
Right. So, basically, guys, what happens in this very last shot is that right as Bobby Fish leaves, a guy in the suit comes to the door looking for Carl Lucas, and he gives him a subpoena. Luke has been subpoenaed. There's a lawsuit Yeah, so Luke
it's
has
probably something to do with the cockroach fight, honestly.
It probably is.
Yeah.
The reason why I dislike this so much is because I feel that this is just going to be 2 or 3 episodes of filler material about can Luke beat the lawsuit, how is he going to come up with the money, what's he going to do, versus focusing on this main plot.
Right. The only way I could see this playing out, and hopefully we're not actually writing the show successfully here.
If Danny Rand comes in and pays for him?
No, not quite. If Danny Rand comes in and they together become the heroes for hire, you know?
Yeah.
And then that's how we can finally see that awesomeness come to life. Because I want to see that shit, man, you know? But...
yeah, that would be great. I dislike the idea of ending on something that's probably going to end up as a cliffhanger for filler material.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah. And so I was like, oh no, guys, come on. I just want a Netflix show, one besides The Punisher, that doesn't have so much filler. Mm-hmm. You know? Because I feel like I don't think The Punisher had that much. Punisher had a little bit.
The Punisher had a little bit. Like, the Bomber was kind of a filler subplot to the other one, but it worked really well.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. He worked really well. He went a little off the rails up until the end, but
yeah.
Damn, I
love The Punisher, man.
But yeah, that's the thing though. Like I really hope that this show can reel itself in, and be focused. Like it's okay to have a couple of threading plots, but with your main character, I feel like they really need to be centered on the main plot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like there's no I love Missy's side plot. That's been great. Everything she's done has been great so far.
Yeah, agreed.
I hope they don't squander it, man, because I only see it getting better from here.
Just less scenes with Bailey, you know. That's all I ask for.
And Nadine.
And less dadgum show tunes.
Right.
Piece of shit.
So, Kevin,
what's up?
I guess before we close, man, what are your overall thoughts of the first 4 episodes?
So, it's not a strong lead into the new season. But then again, Jessica Jones Season 2 definitely didn't really share that either. So I think there's still room for this to be prominent in the Season 2 returns of Netflix superheroes. But there's a number of things they gotta do, you know? If we're talking performance-wise, I mean, we definitely need, you know, Mike Coulter's character to step up and show that development, you know? We definitely need this filler material to get the hell out of the way quickly so we can get back to what matters. If they get hung up on the filler. Again, I haven't dug into 5 yet. So, you know, we'll see. You know, we'll talk more about that in part 2. We also need to see Heroes for Hire because I'm a fan baby and I want to see it, damn it. You know, and...
not a fan boy, he's a fan baby.
I'm a fan baby, damn it. I'm gonna fight and squeal if I don't see it. Man. Oh, we also obviously need to see this metal arm. I want to see freaking kick-ass RoboCop arm over here. Oh my gosh, that's what it is. RoboCop arm. Oh man. That's free show. You can use that. And yeah, man. What about you? What are you feeling?
I think the episodes 1 through 4 does a lot of things really well. One thing that they definitely nailed that I've noticed on both of my watch throughs has been the music. I love the music.
That's true.
Music has been on key, definitely on point. I like the fact that they're trying to have Luke evolve as a character. However, there have been missteps to get there. I do think that Bushmaster has potential to be a great villain. They've been doing the slow reveal on Bushmaster. That's good now, but that can really be opposite momentum if they wait too long to give us the full reveal. But Bushmaster right now, he's not as strong as Cornell, but very few villains were as strong as Cornell. Cottonmouth was just a really good villain.
Hot damn.
Yeah. But I think that if the writing is strong enough for Mariah and Shades and also Bushmaster, that they can really all together maybe equal what Cottonmouth was in season 1. I know it sounds like we're really buffing up Cottonmouth. He was that good.
He was great.
Yeah.
Oh, so he promised you that you would get paid for this information? Well, you can collect your money from him downstairs. I love that shit, man. Damn.
Yeah, he was real good.
He was so good.
But I do like that they have a physical villain that can go toe to toe with Luke Cage. Diamondback was ridiculous in the worst way.
That was
I'll never forget the "I'm Luke Cage."
Oh my god.
That shit will.
I know, right?
That shit will go down in infamy.
Yeah.
With Diamondback yelling, "I'm Luke Cage." Like, shut up! What are you talking about?
You have the strangest psychological problems right now.
He really did. He really did. But I'm curious to see now. It looks like maybe Claire and Bobby will be gone for a couple episodes. Who knows how long? If this is a breakup, that could leave room for Jessica Jones. You know, she's got to break up with her boy toy first.
Yeah, Romero or something.
Whatever, yeah,
Mr.
whatever.
Painter.
Right.
Let's have sex on paintings.
Right.
Guy. Yeah. Ew.
And I mean, this also leaves room for Danny to come in. Danny
Also,
Rand.
yes,
Yeah. That'd be really cool to see Finn Jones, kind of redeem the character in a lot of people's eyes, maybe. But no, I think that the show still has a lot of potential. If I had to rate it right now, I'd probably give it like a 7.6. It hasn't been. I mean, these first 4 episodes, they come off unevenly paced at points.
Sure.
But the things that have been great have been really strong. So
yeah. I'm not gonna rate it yet.
No. I said if I had to rate the show right now.
Okay, cool. I was about to say I'm going to plead the fifth here and wait till I get some more content. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. But just based off what I've seen, that's what I would definitely give the show for the first 4 episodes.
Cool.
But yeah, that's going to be it for now, guys. Even covering 4 episodes has proven to be very long.
It has. How long have we reached, man? What's
almost 2.5 hours.
Shit.
Yep.
Honestly, I thought we broke that. But yeah.
But yeah, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Watch the next 4 episodes so you'll be ready for our next podcast on Luke Cage.
That is if you're watching it along with us. If you already know what's going to happen, do not comment and break the... don't spoil shit for us. Yeah.
Yes, but we're going to go ahead and wrap up shop here. If you guys have any other kind of questions, comments, skills, thirst, food, supplies, you can hit us up at superherohomies@gmail.com or the Facebook page, Superhero Homies. And also feel free to check out our Patreon page for always new and more entertaining podcasts.
Always.
We got more stuff there as well, guys. So it's going to be it for now, but we'll see you guys next time. Till then, I'm Quentin.
I'm Kevin.